Do up.
So what are we up to tonight, buddy? What are we up to tonight?
Well, I was going to ask you the same question. Chat's already buzzing. I don't even know what the hell we're doing tonight. This has been a blur of everything, and we've been ramping up to tonight. And everybody I can see is in the green room right now, waiting to come in.
You know it's a serious stream when you get the Google form out. That's like that's when things are real.
That's right.
Oh man, is this the big leagues now? Yeah.
Well, when people know when we have panel streams or we got more than 3 or 4 people on, I always refer to this as kind of like when people are like, I don't necessarily understand. What do you mean? Like, I'm going to hit a link, and I'm like, just think of it like a Zoom meeting. You're part of a Zoom meeting. And everybody's like, I know. I got you.
I
hit the link, and then I talk business, and I'm like, 100%, that's what you do.
Yeah. Hello, do you know any business? I know business.
Perfect. Well, then you're qualified to be in a Zoom meeting. You're kind of good to go. We're doing, tonight, we're doing something super fun. Well, I think it's going to be fun, but at the end, we might be shaking our heads going, why did we do this? I don't think that's going to be the case. But we are doing a table read of Star Wars A New Hope, the first movie that identifies as the 4th movie. Perfect. And we have people that we have nominated. Oh, you can't see them in the.
Do they all know what they're doing?
They all know the roles that they're playing. Oh,
good.
Focus. There we go. They all know the roles that they are going to be playing, and we are going to read through the script. We're going to start in a few minutes. We're going to read through the script, and it's going to be super, super fun. Everybody's going to play their parts. We have the official script. And just to preface this, Danny, as you may or may not know, this screenplay that I have is the only one that is kind of the most recent available one of it. And it was done, it's the revised 4th draft done in January 15th, 1976. And it has extra scenes in it that did not make it to film.
Well, you made a good point, because I never considered that when they're done the movie and they're editing it and whipping everything around, they don't go back and go, yeah, we should fix that script and get it dialed in, right?
Take it out.
No. They just literally rip that page out and then go, that's kind of, okay, well, then I guess we're not doing that. Or they just edited it out at the very end. And Mr. Lucas is like, we don't need that. Just cut her out.
Isn't episode 4 one of the episodes where famously his wife saved the movie in the edits? I seem to remember, Martha Lucas or something. She apparently she was kind of like the person in the background who kind of reeled a bunch of stuff in.
Oh wow! Because
George Lucas is like an introverted dude and doesn't necessarily know the best way humans interact.
No, I didn't know that. I did not know that.
Marcia Lucas, I want to say.
Somebody Google confirm. Google confirm.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Yeah. Yes. So we're going to be doing the extra scenes that are in here, and I've been reading through it. So the roles that are as set, and I'll bring everybody in kind of individually here if that's cool. Are we cool? Can we bring people in and then we're going to start her up?
We're ready. Yeah.
Okay. So I will be playing the narrator. I'll be doing all the descriptions, all the narrative stuff that's in the script, and I'll try to do it as not as dramatic as I would typically do it, but I'll still do it though. Danny, you're going to be playing superfluous. I'm trying to use this word more in my vocabulary. Superfluous
character.
Superfluous.
Yeah.
I'm literally trying to throw that, pepper it into my vocabulary.
Like Captain Nita. I have no
exactly.
I can't remember if he's in the film or not.
Captain Nita. You're going to be playing superfluous roles. Any extra stuff you're going to be doing?
No, we're going to work
stuff.
together on the Jawas.
Emily, you're going to be playing the droids. Yes.
Yep.
Oh, I
all
like it.
Droids.
All droids all the time. You're going to be playing C-3PO. Yes.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to bring in a few people here. I'm going to bring in our person that last minute jumped in, and I love it. I'm going to bring in Wibbles is his name, and he's going to be playing our Obi-Wan tonight. Wibbles. Wibbles, buddy.
Hello there.
Welcome.
Had to be done.
Absolutely.
You only get two. You only get two.
That's right.
I used up one of them.
The person playing Han Solo is Adam. Adam, how you doing,
Hey, how's it going, everybody?
bud? Good, man.
What's
Good
up?
to see you. Bring in next the person playing our Princess Leia is the awesome, and she, by the way, joined us for this whole situation right here. Our Bob
that's a
Ross
situation.
stream
Yeah.
is the amazing McPickle. McPickle.
Vicky.
Oh, you're muted. McPickle.
Hi.
There. Our guest who's playing Luke tonight is one of my oldest friends out of this entire group. I think I've known him the longest out of everybody here, as a matter of fact. Is the amazing Curtis. Curtis, buddy, how you doing?
Hey, I'm doing well. Thanks for inviting me.
And our last person, or second last person, is probably should probably play the princess, but not. I wanted her to play a more definitive role. Is the amazing Lily? There you are, playing Lady Vader.
Greetings!
I wonder who she's playing.
Yeah. McPickle, you there? Unmute.
There we go. Is it working?
Yes.
There we go. Yay! Backup headphones for the win.
Adrian here is awesome because he's one of my favorite guitarists, and he's going to be playing guitar all the music themes tonight.
Wow.
Underneath,
Solid.
underneath, while we're going through it, he's going to be playing. Adrian, come on in, bud. There you are.
Beautiful.
Oh yes.
That was lovely.
Nice.
Are we jumping in?
Well, I think we have to jump in.
Because it's going to be long.
It's about 156 pages.
Yeah.
So
It's
no
hella
roughhousing,
long.
and there may be at a certain point we have no idea how long it'll take. So maybe there's a part 2 to this stream. Maybe that's what we got to do. But we're just gonna have fun and power through it. You don't have to try to do the voice. Do your own interpretation of this. You're an actor and you're putting your spin on this script. So.
Yes. A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, a vast sea of stars serves as a backdrop for the main title. War drums echo through the heavens as the roll-up slowly crawls into infinity. It's the period of civil war. Rebel spaceships striking from a hidden base have won their first victory against the evil Galactic Empire. During the battle, rebel spies managed to steal secret plans from the Empire's ultimate weapon, the Death Star, an armored space station with enough power to destroy an entire planet. Pursued by the Emperor's sinister agents, this is going to be
Princess
long.
Leia raises hope.
I lost the page. Princess pursued by the stolen plans that can save people and restore freedom to the galaxy. An awesome yellow planet of Tatooine emerges from a total eclipse, her two moons glowing against the darkness. A tiny silver spacecraft, a rebel blockade runner firing lasers from the back of the ship, races through space. It is pursued by a giant Imperial Star Destroyer. Hundreds of deadly laser bolts streak from the Imperial Star Destroyer, causing the main solar fin of the rebel craft to disintegrate. Yes. Interior shot, rebel blockade runner, main passageway. An explosion rocks the ship as two robots, R2-D2 and C-3PO, struggle to make their way through the shaking, bouncing passageway. Both robots are old and battered. R2 is a short, claw-armed tripod. His face is a mass of computer lights surrounded by a radar eye. 3PO, on the other hand, is a tall, slender robot of human proportions, as he has a gleaming bronze-like metallic surface of an Art Deco design. Another blast shakes them as they struggle along their way.
Oh, R2! Did you hear that? They've shut down the main reactor. We'll be destroyed for sure. This is madness!
Rebel troopers rush past the robots and take up positions in the main passageway. They aim their weapons towards the door.
We're doomed!
The little R2 unit makes a series of electronic sounds that only another robot could understand.
There'll be no escape for sure this time for the princess.
R2 continues making beeping sounds. Tension mounts as the loud metallic latches clank and the scream of heavy equipment. The scream of heavy equipment is heard moving around the outside hull of the ship.
What's that?
External spaceship in craft. In space. The Imperial craft has easily overtaken the Rebel blockade runner. The smaller Rebel ship is being drawn into the underside dock of the giant Imperial spaceship. Internal Rebel blockade runner. The nervous Rebel troopers aim their weapons. Suddenly a tremendous blast opens up. A hole in the main passageway, and a score of foursome, armored, space-suited space troopers make their way into the smoke-filled corridor. In a few minutes, the entire passageway is ablaze with laser fire. The deadly bolts ricochet in wild, random patterns, creating huge explosions. Stormtroopers scatter and duck behind storage lockers. Laser bolts hit several Rebel soldiers who scream and stagger through the smoke, holding shattered arms and faces. An explosion hits near the robots.
Oh! I should have known better than to trust the logic of a half-size... Oh, fuck. I carry that.
Vocabulary.
Dehousing a sister.
R2 counters with an angry rebuttal as the battle rages around the two hapless robots. Oh. Here's the extra scene, by the way. External Tatooine. Desert wasteland. Day. A death-white wasteland stretches from horizon to horizon. The tremendous heat of two huge twin suns settle on the lone figure, Luke Skywalker, a farm boy with heroic aspirations who looks much younger than his 18 years. His shaggy hair and baggy tunic give him the air of a simple but lovable lad with a prize-winning smile. Prize-winning smile, I like that. A light wind whips at him as he adjusts several valves on a large battered moisture evaporator, which sticks out of the desert floor, much like the oil pipe with valves. He is aided by a beat-up thread robot with 6 claw arms. A little robot appears to be barely functioning and moves with jerky motions. A bright sparkle in the morning sky catches Luke's eye, and he instinctively grabs for a pair of extra binoculars from his utility belt. He stands transfixed for a moment, studying the heavens, then dashed towards the dented, crudely repaired land speeder, an auto-like transport that travels a few feet above the ground on magnetic field. He motions for the tiny robot to follow him.
Hurry up! Come with me! What are you waiting for? Get in gear!
The robot scoots around in a tight circle, stops short, and smoke begins to pour out of every joint. Luke throws his arms up in disgust. Exasperated? The young farm boy jumps into his land speeder, leaving the smoldering robot to hum madly. Internal shot. Rebel blockade runner. Internal Rebel blockade runner. The awesome 7-foot-tall Dark Lord of the Sith makes his way onto the blinding light of the main passageway. This is Darth Vader, right hand of the Emperor. His face is obscured by his flowing black robes and grotesque breath mask, which stands out next to the fascist white armored suits of the Imperial stormtroopers. Everyone instinctively backs away from the imposing warrior, and deathly quiet sweeps through the rebel troops. Several of the rebel troops break and run in a frenzied panic. Internal Rebel blockade runner. A woman's hand puts a card into the opening of R2's dome. R2 makes beeping sounds. 3PO stands in the hallway somewhat bewildered. R2 is nowhere to be in sight. The pitiful screams of doomed rebel soldiers can be heard in the distance.
R2, where are you?
A familiar clanking sound attacks 3PO's attention, and he spots little R2 at the end of the hallway in a smoke-filled alcove. A beautiful young girl, about 16 years old, stands in front of R2. Surreal and out of place, dreamlike and half hidden in the smoke, she finishes adjusting something on R2's computer face, then watches as the little robot joins his companion.
At last, where have you been?
Stormtroopers can be heard battling in the distance.
They're heading in this direction. What are we going to do? We'll be sent to the spice mines of Kessel, smashed into who knows what.
R2 scoots past his bronze friend and races down the sub-hallway. 3PO chases after him.
Wait a minute, where are you going?
R2 responds with electronic beeps.
Beep, boop, boop, boop.
Internal Rebel blockade runner corridor. Or interior. The evil Darth Vader stands amid the broken and twisted bodies of his foes. He grabs a wounded Rebel officer by the neck as the Imperial officer rushes up to the Dark Lord.
The Death Star plans are not in the main computer.
Vader squeezes the neck of the Rebel officer, who struggles in vain.
Where are those transmissions you intercepted?
Vader lifts the Rebel off his feet by his throat.
What have you done with those plans?
We intercepted no transmissions. This is a consular ship. We're on a diplomatic mission.
If this is a consular ship, where is the ambassador?
The Rebel refuses to speak, but eventually cries out as the Dark Lord begins to squeeze the officer's throat, creating a gruesome snapping and choking until the soldier goes limp. Vader tosses the dead soldier against the wall and turns to his troops.
Commander, tear this ship apart until you found those plans and bring me the ambassador. I want her alive.
The stormtroopers scurry into the sub-hallways. Interior shot. Rebel blockade runner sub-hallway. The lovely young girl huddles in a small alcove as the stormtroopers search through the ship. She is Princess Leia Organa, a member of the Alderaan Senate. The fear of her eyes slowly gives way to anger as the muted, crushing sounds of the approaching stormtroopers grow louder. One of the troopers spots her.
There she is, set for stun.
Leia steps from her hiding place, blasts a trooper with her laser pistol. She starts to run, but is felled by a paralyzing ray. The trooper inspects her inert body.
She'll be all right. Inform Lord Vader. We have a prisoner.
Internal shot. Rebel blockade runner sub-hallway. R2 stops before the small hatch of an emergency life pod. He snaps the seal of the main latch and a red warning light begins to flash. The stubby astro robot works his way into the cramped 4-man pod.
Hey, you're not permitted in there. It's restricted. He'll be deactivated for sure.
R2 beeps something to him.
Beep boop. Don't call me a mindless philosopher, you overweight glob of grease. Now come on before somebody sees you.
R2 whistles something at his reluctant friend regarding the mission he's about to perform.
Secret mission? What plans? What are you talking about? I'm not getting in there.
R2 isn't happy with 3PO's stubbornness, and he beeps and twangs angrily.
Boink, boink, boink.
A new explosion, this time very close, sends dust and debris through the narrow sub-hallway. Flames lick at 3PO, and after a flurry of electronic swearing from R2, the lanky robot jumps into the life pod.
I'm going to regret this.
Interior, Imperial Star Destroyer. On the main view screen, the life pod carrying the two terrified robots speeds away from the stricken Rebel spacecraft.
There goes another one. Hold your fire. There are no life forms. It must have been a short circuit.
Interior life pod. R2 and 3PO look at the receding Imperial starship. Stars circle as the pod rotates through the galaxy.
That's funny. The damage doesn't look that bad from out here.
R2 beeps an assuring response.
Boop, boop. Are you sure this thing is safe?
Exterior shot Tatooine. Anchorhead settlement. Power station. Day. Heat waves radiate from the dozen or so bleached white buildings. Luke pilots his land speeder through the dusty, empty street of a tiny settlement. An old woman runs to get out of the way of the speeder vehicle, shaking her fist at Luke as he flies past.
What a dick.
Yeah, exactly.
I told you kids to slow down.
Interior shot power station. Day. Luke bursts into the power station, waking the fixer, a rugged mechanic. This is all new scene, by the way. Mechanic and Cammy, a sexy, disheveled girl who has been asleep in his lap. They grumbled as he races through the office, yelling wildly.
Did I hear a young noise blast through here? It was just a wormy on another rampage.
Luke bounces into a small room behind the office where Deke and Windy, two tough boys about the same age as Luke, are playing a computer pool-like game with Biggs. Biggs. A burly, handsome boy, a few years older than the rest. His flashy city attire is sharp contrast to the loose-fitting tunics of the farm boys. A robot repairs some equipment in the background.
Shape it up, you guys. Biggs?
Luke's surprise at the appearance of Biggs gives way to a great joy and emotion. They give each other a great bear hug.
I didn't know you were back. When did you get in?
Just now. I wanted to surprise you, hot shot. I thought you'd be here. Certainly didn't expect you to be out working.
The academy didn't change you much, but you're back so soon? Hey, what happened? Didn't you get your commission?
Biggs has an air of cool that seems slightly phony.
Of course I got it. Signed aboard the Rand Ecliptic last week. First mate Biggs Darklighter at your service. I just came to say goodbye to you all unfortunate landlocked simpletons.
Everyone laughs. The dazzling spectacle of his dashing friend is almost too much for Luke, but suddenly he snaps out of it.
Oh, I almost forgot. There's a battle going on right here in our system. Come and look.
Not again. Forget it.
Exterior shot, Tatooine, Anchorhead Settlement Power Station. The group stumbles out of the stifling desert sun. Cammy and the Fixer complain and are forced to shade their eyes. Luke and his binoculars are scanning the heavens.
There they are.
Biggs takes the binoculars from Luke and the others strain to see something with their naked eye. Through the binoculars, Biggs sees two small silver specks.
That's no battle, hotshot. They're just sitting there, probably a freighter tanker refueling.
But there was a lot of firing earlier.
Cammy grabs the binoculars away, banging them against the building. In the process, Luke grabs them.
Hey, easy with those.
Don't worry about it, Wormy.
The Fixer gives Luke a hard look, and the young farm boy shrugs his shoulders in resignation.
I keep telling you, the rebellion is a long way from here. I doubt if the Emperor would even fight to keep this system. Believe me, Luke, this planet is a big hunk of nothing.
Luke agrees, although it's obvious he isn't sure why. The group stumbles back into the power station, grumbling about Luke's ineptitude. Interior shot, Rebel Blockade Runner hallway. Princess Leia is led down a low-ceilinged hallway by a squad of armored stormtroopers. Her hands are bound, and she is brutally shoved when she is unable to keep up with the briskly marching troops. They stop in a smoky hallway as Darth Vader emerges from the shadows. The sinister Dark Lord stares hard at the frail young senator, but she doesn't move.
Lord Vader! I should have known. Only you would be so bold. The Imperial Senate will not sit for this when they hear you've attacked a diplomatic...
Don't play games with me, Your Highness. You weren't on any mercy mission this time. You passed directly through a restricted system. Several transmissions were beamed to this ship by rebel spies. I want to know what happened to the plans they sent you.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am a member of the Imperial Senate on a diplomatic mission to Alderaan.
You're part of a rebel alliance and a traitor. Take her away!
I feel like I want to say all these lines too. Leia is marched away down a hallway and into a smoldering hole blasted in the side of the ship. An Imperial commander turns to Vader.
Holding her is dangerous. If word of this gets out, it could generate sympathy for the rebellion in the Senate.
I have traced the rebel spies to her. Now she is the only link to find their secret base.
She'll die before she tells you anything.
Leave that to me. Send a distress signal and then inform the Senate that all aboard were killed.
Another Imperial officer approaches Vader and the commander. They stop and snap to attention.
Lord Vader, the battle station plans are not aboard this ship, and no transmissions were made. An escape pod was jettisoned during the fighting, but no life forms were aboard.
Vader turns to the commander. Sorry.
She must have hidden the plans in the escape pod. Send a detachment down to retrieve them. See to it personally, Commander. There'll be
sir.
no one to stop us this time.
Yes, sir.
Exterior space. The Imperial Star Destroyer comes over the surface of the planet Tatooine. External shot, Tatooine Desert. Judland, or No Man's Land, where the rugged desert messes meet the foreboding Dune Sea. The two helpless asteroid droids kick up clouds of sand as they leave the life pod and clumsily work their way across the desert wasteland. The life pod in the distance rests half buried in the sand.
How did we get into this mess? I really don't know how. We seem to be made to suffer. It's our lot in life.
R2 answers with beeping sounds.
I've
They've
got the
got-
rest of.
Sorry. Yeah, go.
I've got to rest before I fall apart. My joints are almost frozen.
R2 continues to respond with beeping sounds.
What a desolate place this is.
Suddenly, R2 whistles, makes a sharp right turn, and starts off in a direction of the rocky desert messes. 3PO stops and yells at him.
Where are you going?
A stream of electronic noises pours forth from the small robot.
Well, I'm not going that way. It's much too rocky. This way is much easier.
R2 counters with a long whistle.
What makes you think there are settlements over there?
R2 continues to make beeping sounds.
Don't get technical with me.
R2 continues to make beeping sounds.
What mission? What are you talking about? I've just had about enough of you. Go that way. You'll be malfunctioning within a day, you nearsighted scrap pile.
3PO gives the little robot a kick and starts off in the direction of the vast Dune Sea.
And don't let me catch you following me and begging for my help, because you won't get it.
R2 reply is a rather rude sound. He turns and trudges off in the direction of the towering messes.
No more adventures. I'm not going that way.
R2 beeps to himself as he makes his way towards the distant mountains. Exterior shot, Tatooine, Dune Sea. 3PO, hot and tired, struggles up over the ridge of a dune, only to find more dunes, which seem to go on for endless miles. He looks back in the direction of the now distant rock messes.
That malfunctioning little twerp. This is all his fault. He tricked me into going this way, but he'll do no better.
In a huff of anger and frustration, 3PO knocks the sand from his joints. His plight seems hopeless when a glint of reflection light in the distance reveals an object moving towards him.
Wait, what's that? A transport? I'm saved!
The bronze android waves frantically and yells at the approaching transport.
Over here! Help! Please, help!
Exterior Tatooine Anchorhead Settlement Power Station. Luke and Biggs is back. Luke and Biggs are walking and drinking a malt brew. Fixer and the others can be heard working inside.
So I cut off my power, shut down the afterburners, and I came in low on Deke's trail. I was so close I thought I was going to fry my instruments. And as it was, I busted up the Skyhopper pretty bad. Uncle Owen was pretty upset. He grounded me for the rest of the season. But you should have been there. It was fantastic.
You ought to take it easy, Luke. You may be the hottest bullsh pilot this side of Mos Eisley, but those little skyhoppers are dangerous. Keep it up, and one day, whammo, you're going to be nothing more than a dark spot on the downside of a canyon wall.
Look who's talking. Now that you've been around those giant starships, you're beginning to sound like my uncle. You've gotten soft in the city.
I've missed you, kid.
Well, things haven't been the same since you left, Biggs. It's been so quiet.
Biggs looks around and leans close to Luke.
Luke, I didn't come back just to say goodbye. I shouldn't tell you this, but you're the only one I can trust. And if I don't come back, I want somebody to know.
Luke's eyes are wide with Biggs' seriousness and loyalty.
What the heck are you talking about?
I made some friends at the Academy. When our frigate goes to one of the central systems, we're gonna go jump ship, join the Alliance.
Luke, amazed and stunned, is almost speechless.
Join the rebellion? Are you kidding me? How?
Quiet down, will ya? Got a mouth bigger than a meteor crater.
I'm sorry, I'm quiet. Listen how quiet I am. You can barely hear me.
Big shakes his head angrily and then continues.
My friend has a friend on Bestine who might help us make contact.
You're crazy. You can wander around forever trying to find him.
I know it's a long shot, but if I don't find him, I'll do what I can on my own. It's what we've always talked about, Luke. I'm not going to wait for the Emperor to draft me into service. The rebellion is spreading, and I want to be on the right side, the side I believe in.
And I'm stuck here.
I thought you were going to the academy next term. You'll get your chance to get off this rock.
Not likely. I have to cancel my application. There's been a lot of unrest among the Sand People since you left. They've even raided the outskirts of Anchorhead.
Your uncle could hold off a whole colony of Sand People with one blaster.
Whoa.
I know, but he's got enough vaporizers going to make the place pay off. He needs me just for one more season. I can't leave him now.
I feel for you, Luke. You're gonna have to learn what seems to be important, or what really is important. Your good is all your uncle's work if it's taken over by the Empire. You know they're starting to nationalize commerce in the central systems. It won't be long before your uncle is merely a tenant, slaving for the greater glory of the Empire.
It couldn't happen here. You said it yourself. The Empire won't bother with this rock.
Things always change.
I wish I was going. Are you going to be around long?
No, I'm leaving in the morning.
Then I guess I won't see you.
Maybe someday. I'll keep a lookout.
Well, I'll be at the Academy next season. After that, who knows? I won't be drafted into the Imperial Starfleet, that's for sure. Take care of yourself. You'll always be the best friend I've got.
So long, Luke.
Biggs turns away from his old friend and heads towards the power station. Quick side, that whole scene is amazing.
It should have. Oh, it's so good.
It fills in a lot of gaps. I like that.
It's too much.
So I'm pretty sure.
is. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure they shot these scenes, and you can see them as deleted scenes if you have the DVDs and Blu-rays.
Absolutely correct. I was going to post them afterwards. Awesome, Curtis. Exterior shot, Tatooine, Rock Canyon, sunset. The gargantuan rock formations are shrouded in a strange foreboding mist, and the ominous sounds of unearthly creatures fill the air. R2 moves cautiously through the creepy rock canyon, inadvertently making a loud clicking noise as he goes. He hears a distant, hard, metallic sound and stops for a moment. Convinced he's alone, he continues on his way. In the distance, a pebble tumbles down the steep canyon wall. A small dark figure darts into the shadows. A little further up the canyon, a slight flicker of light reveals a pair of eyes in the dark recesses of the only a few feet from the narrow path. The unsuspecting robot waddles along the rugged trail until suddenly, out of nowhere, a powerful magnetic ray shoots from the rocks and engulfs him in an eerie glow. He manages one short electronic squeak before he topples over onto his back. His bright computer lights flicker off, then on, then off again. One of the rocks scurry 3 Jawas, no taller than R2. They holster strange and complex weapons as they cautiously approach the robot. They wear grubby cloaks and their faces are shrouded, so only their glowing eyes can be seen. They hiss and make old guttural sounds as they heave at the heavy robot onto their shoulders and carry him off down the trail. Exterior, Tatooine, Rock Canyon, Sand Crawler, sunset. The 8 Jawas carry R2 out of the canyon to a huge tank-like vehicle to the size of a 4-story house. Ding, 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 ding.
Wrong movie.
Oh, sorry, that's totally wrong movie. They weld a small disc to the side of R2 and then put him under a large tube on the side of a vehicle, and the little robot is sucked into the giant machine. The filthy little Jawas scurry like rats up the small ladders and enter the main cabin of the behemoth transport. Interior of the Sandcrawler. It's dim inside the hold area of the Sandcrawler. R2 switches on a small floodlight in his forehead and stumbles around to the scrap heap. The narrow beam swings across rusty metal rocket parts and an array of grotesquely twisted and maimed astro robots. He lets out a pathetic electronic whimper and stumbles off towards what appears to be the door at the end of a chamber. Interior Sandcrawler. Prison area. R2 enters a wide room with a 4-foot ceiling. In the middle of the scrap heap sits a dozen or so robots, various shapes and sizes. Some are engaged in electronic conversation, while others simply mill about. A voice of recognition calls out from the gloom.
R2-D2, is that you? It is you.
A battered 3PO scrambles up to R2 and embraces him. External Tatooine Rock Canyon Sandcrawler. The enormous Sandcrawler lumbers over toward the magnificent twin suns and are slowly setting over the distant mountain ridge. External Tatooine, or exterior Tatooine. 4 Imperial stormtroopers mill about in front of the half-buried life pod that brought R2 and 3PO to Tatooine. A trooper yells to the officer some distance away.
Someone was in the pod. The tracks go off in this direction.
A second trooper picks a small bit of metal out of the sand and gives it to the first trooper.
Look, sir, droids.
By the way, Queen, you're absolutely right. I think that should be the next one, by the way. Exterior Tatooine dunes. The Sandcrawler moves slowly down a great sand dune. Interior shot, Sandcrawler. 3PO and R2 noisily bounce along inside the cramped prison chamber. R2 appears to be shut off, though, by the way.
Oh. Wake up! Wake up!
Suddenly, the shaking and bouncing of the Sandcrawler stops, creating quite a commotion among the mechanical men. 3PO's fist bangs the head of R2, whose computer lights pop on, and he begins beeping. At the far end of the long chamber, a hatch opens, filling the chamber with blinding white light. A dozen or so Jawas make their way through the odd assortment of robots.
We're doomed.
The Jawa starts moving toward them.
Do you think they'll melt us down?
R2 responds, making beeping sounds.
Don't shoot, don't shoot. Will this never end?
Exterior Tatooine. Exterior Tatooine Desert Lars homestead. Afternoon. The Jawas muttered gibberish as they busily line up the battered captives, including R2 and 3PO. In front of the enormous Sandcrawler, which is parked beside a small homestead consisting of 3 large holes in the ground, surrounded by several tall moisture evaporators, and 1 small adobe block house. The Jawas scurry around, fussing over the robots, straightening them up and brushing some dust from the dented metallic elbow. The shrouded little creatures smell horrible, attracting small insects in the dark areas where their mouths and nostrils should be. Yikes.
Yuck!
Out of the shadows of this dingy side building limps Owen Lars, a large burly man in his mid-50s. His reddish eyes are sunken in a dust-covered face. Crazy. As the farmer carefully inspects each robot, he's closely followed by his slump-shouldered nephew, Luke Skywalker. One of the vile little Jawas walks ahead of the farmer, spouting an animated sales pitch in a queer, intelligible language.
Unintelligible.
A voice calls out from one of the huge holes in the form of the homestead. Luke goes over to the edge and sees his Aunt Beru standing in the main courtyard.
Luke, tell Owen that if he gets a translator to make sure it speaks Bocce.
It looks like we don't have much of a choice, but I'll remind him.
Luke returns to his uncle, and they look over the equipment for sale with the Jawa leader.
I have no need for a protocol droid.
Sir, not in this environment, or not an environment such as this. That's why I've also been programmed for over 30 secondary functions that...
What I really need is a droid that understands the binary language of moist evaporators.
Evaporators? Sir, my first job was programming binary load lifters. They're very similar to your evaporators. You could say...
Do you speak Bocce?
Of course I can, sir. That's like a second language to me. I'm as fluent in Bocce.
All right, shut up. I'll take this one.
Shutting up, sir.
Luke, take these 2 over to the garage, will you? I want you to have both of them cleaned up before dinner.
But I was going into Taji Station to pick up some power converters.
You can waste time with your friends when your chores are done. Now come on, get to it.
All right, come on. And the red one, come on. Well, come on, Red, let's go.
As the Jawas start to lead the 3 remaining robots back into the Sandcrawler, R2 lets out a pathetic little beep and starts after his old friend 3PO. He is restrained by a slimy Jawa who zaps him with a control box. Owen is negotiating with the head Jawa. Luke and the 2 robots start off for the garage with a plate. When a plate pops off the head of the red astrodroid's head and sparks wildly.
Uncle Owen,
Yeah?
this R2 unit has a bad motivator. Look.
Me, what are you trying to push on us?
The Jawa goes into a loud spiel. Meanwhile, R2 has snuck out of the line and is moving up and down trying to attract attention. He lets out a low whistle. 3PO taps Luke on the shoulder.
Excuse me, sir, but that R2 unit is in prime condition. A real bargain.
Uncle Owen,
Yeah?
what about that one?
What about the blue one? We'll take that one.
With a little reluctance, the scruffy dwarf trades the damaged astrodroid for R2.
Yeah, take it away.
I'm quite sure you'll be very pleased with this one, sir. He's really in first-class condition. I've worked with him before. Here he comes.
Owen pays off the winning Jawa, and as Luke and the 2 robots trudge off towards a grimy homestead entry.
Okay, let's go.
Now, don't you forget this. Why should I stick my neck out for you? Quite beyond my capacity.
Interior shot Lars homestead, garage area, late afternoon. The garage is cluttered and worn, but a friendly, peaceful atmosphere permeates the low gray chamber. 3PO lowers himself into a large tub filled with warm oil. Near the battered land speeder, little R2 rests on a large battery with a cord to his face.
Thank the maker. This oil bath is going to feel so good. I've got such a bad case of dust contamination. I can barely move.
R2 beeps a muffled reply. Luke seems to be lost in thought as he runs his hand over the damaged fin of the small 2-man Skyhopper spaceship, resting in the large hangar off the garage. Finally, Luke's frustrations get the better of him, and he slams a wrench across the workbench.
It just isn't fair. Oh, Biggs is right. I'm never gonna get out of here.
Is there anything I might do to help?
Oh, that's me. Luke glances at the battered robot. A bit of his anger drains as a tiny smile creeps across his face.
Not unless you can alter time, speed up the harvest, or teleport me off this rock.
I don't think so, sir. I'm only a droid, and not very knowledgeable about such things. Not on this planet, anyway. As a matter of fact, I'm not even sure which planet I'm on.
Well, if there's a bright center to the universe, you're on the planet it's farthest from.
See, sir.
You can call me Luke.
I see, Sir Luke.
Just Luke.
And I am C-3PO, Human-Cyborg Relations, and this is my counterpart, R2-D2.
Hello.
R2 beeps in response. Luke unplugs R2 and begins to scrape several connectors on the robot's head with a chrome pick. 3PO climbs out of the oil tub and begins wiping oil from his bronze body. Oh, that sounds sexy.
That just sounds.
Yes. Wiping oil from his bronze body. Yeah.
You've got a lot of carbon scoring here. Looks like you boys have seen a lot of action.
With all we've been through, sometimes I'm amazed we're in such good condition, what with the rebellion and all.
You know of the rebellion against the Empire?
That's how I came into your service. If you take my meaning, sir.
Have you been in many battles?
Several, I think. Actually, there's not much to tell. I'm not much more than an interpreter, and not very good at telling stories. Well, not making them interesting, anyway.
Luke struggles to remove a small metal fragment from R2's neck joint. He uses a larger pick.
Well, my little friend, you've got something jammed in here real good. Were you on a cruiser, or...?
The fragment breaks loose with a snap, sending Luke tumbling head over heels. He sits up and sees a 12-inch, 3-dimensional hologram of Leia Organa, the rebel senator, being projected from the face of the little R2. The image is a rainbow of colors as it flickers and jiggles in the dimly lit garage. Luke's mouth hangs open in awe.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
What's this?
R2 looks around and sheepishly beeps an answer for 3PO to translate. Leia continues to repeat the sentence fragment over and over.
What is what? He asked you a question. What is that?
R2 whistles his surprise as he pretends to just notice the hologram. He looks around and sheepishly beeps an answer for 3PO to translate. Leia continues to repeat the sentence fragment over and over.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
Oh, he says it's nothing, sir. Merely a malfunction. Old data. Pay it no mind.
Luke becomes intrigued by the beautiful girl.
Who is she? She's beautiful.
I'm afraid I'm not quite sure, sir.
Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I think she was a passenger on our last voyage. A person of some importance, sir, I believe. Our captain was attached to...
Is there more of this recording?
Luke reaches out for R2, but he lets out several frantic squeaks and a whistle.
Behave yourself, R2! You're going to get us in trouble. It's all right. You can trust him. He's our new master.
R2 whistles and beeps a long message to 3PO. Long message.
He says he's the property of Obi-Wan Kenobi, a resident of these parts. And this is a private message for him. Quite frankly, sir, I don't know what he's talking about. Our last master was Captain Antilles, but with what we've been through, this little R2 unit has become a bit eccentric.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. I wonder if he means old Ben Kenobi.
I beg your pardon, sir, but do you know who he's talking about?
I don't know anyone named Obi-Wan, but old Ben lives out beyond the Dune Sea. He's kind of a strange old hermit.
Luke gazes at the beautiful young princess for a few moments.
I wonder who she is. Sounds like she's in trouble. I'd better play back the whole thing.
R2 beeps something to 3PO.
He says the restraining bolt has short-circuited his recording system. He suggests that if you remove the bolt, he might be able to play back the entire recording.
Luke looks longly at the lovely little princess and hasn't really heard what 3PO has been saying.
Oh yeah. Well, I guess if you're too small to run away with me, I can take this off. Okay.
Luke takes a wedged bar and pops the restraining bolt off R2's side.
Oh, there you go.
The princess immediately disappears.
Oh, wait a minute. Where'd she go? Bring her back. Play back the entire message.
R2 beeps an innocent reply as 3PO sits up in embarrassment.
What message? You're the one carrying inside your rusty innards.
A woman's voice calls out from another room.
Luke, come to dinner.
Luke stands up and shakes his head at the malfunctioning robot.
All right, I'll be right there, Aunt Beru.
Damn right.
I'm sorry, sir, but he appears to have picked up a slight flutter.
Luke tosses R2's restraining bolt on the workbench and hurries out of the room.
Well, see what you can do with him. I'll be right back.
Just you reconsider playing that message for him.
R2 beeps in response.
No, I don't think he likes you at all.
R2 beeps.
No, I don't like you either.
I don't like you either.
I don't like you either.
Interior Lars homestead. There's a bit of mirroring that happens there. That's actually funny. I'd never caught that. Interior Lars homestead dining area. Luke's Aunt Beru, a warm, motherly woman, fills a pitcher with blue fluid from a refrigerator container in the wall-used kitchen. She puts the pitcher on a tray with some bowls of food and starts for the dining area. Luke sits with his Uncle Owen before a table covered with steaming bowls of food as Aunt Beru carries in a bowl of red grain.
You know, I think that R2 unit we bought might have been stolen.
What makes you think that?
Well, I stumbled across a recording when I was cleaning him. He says he belongs to someone called Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Owen is greatly alarmed at the mention of his name, but manages to control himself.
I thought he might have meant old Ben. Do you know what he's talking about? Oh, I wonder if he's related to Ben.
Owen breaks loose with a fit of uncontrolled anger.
That old man's just a crazy old wizard. Tomorrow I want to take that R2 unit into Anchorhead and have its memory flushed.
That'll be the end of it. It belongs to us now.
But what if this Obi-Wan comes looking for him?
We won't.
I don't think he exists anymore. He died about the same time as your father.
He knew my father?
I told you to forget it. Your only concern is to prepare the new droids for tomorrow. In the morning, I want them on the south ridge working out these condensers.
Yes, sir. I think these new droids are going to work out fine. In fact, I was also thinking about our agreement about staying on for another season. And if these new droids do work out, I want to transmit my application to the Academy this year.
Owen's face becomes scowl, although he tries to suppress it.
You mean the next semester before the harvest?
Well, sure. There's more than enough droids.
Harvest is when I need you the most. Only one more season. This year will make enough on the harvest, so I'll be able to hire some more hands, and then you can go to the academy next year.
Luke continues to toy with his food, not looking at his uncle.
You gotta understand, I need you here, Luke.
But it's a whole nother year.
Look, it's only one more season.
Luke pushes his half-eaten plate of food aside and stands.
Yeah, that's what you said last year when Biggs and Tank left.
Where are you going?
Looks like I'm going nowhere. Have to finish cleaning those droids.
Resigned to his fate, Luke paddles out of the room. Owen mechanically finishes his dinner.
Owen, he can't stay here forever. Most of his friends have gone. It means so much to him.
I'll make it up to him next year, I promise.
Luke's just not a farmer, Owen. He has too much of his father in him.
That's what I'm afraid of the most.
Exterior Tatooine, Lars Homestead. The giant twin suns of Tatooine slowly disappear behind a distant dune range. Luke stands watching them for a few moments, then reluctantly enters the doomed entrance to the homestead. Interior shot, Lars Homestead, garage. Luke enters the garage to discover the robots nowhere in sight. He takes a small control box from his utility belt, similar to the one the Jawas were carrying. He activates the box, which creates a low hum, and 3PO, letting out a short yell, pops up from behind a Skyhopper spaceship.
Oh my.
What are you doing hiding there?
3PO stumbles forward, and R2 is still nowhere in sight.
It wasn't my fault, sir. Please, don't deactivate me. I told him not to go. But he's faulty, malfunctioning, kept babbling on about his mission.
Oh, no.
Luke races out of the garage, followed by 3PO. External shot, Tatooine, Lars Homestead. Luke rushes out of the small doomed entry to the homestead and searches the darkening horizon for the small triped astro robot. 3PO struggles out of the homestead and on the salt flat as Luke scans the landscape with his electro binoculars.
That R2 unit has always been a problem. These astro droids are getting quite out of hand. Even I can't understand their logic at times.
How can I be so stupid? He's nowhere in sight. Blast it.
Pardon me, sir, but couldn't we go after him?
It's too dangerous with all the sand people around. We'll have to wait until morning.
Owen yells up from the homestead plaza.
Luke, I'm shutting the power down for the night.
All right, I'll be there in a few minutes. Boy, am I gonna get it.
He takes one final look across the dim horizon.
You know, that little droid is gonna cause me a lot of trouble.
Oh, he excels at that, sir.
Internal shot, Lars Homestead Plaza. Morning slowly creeps into the sparse but sparkling oasis of the open courtyard. The idol is broken by the yelling. The idol is broken by the yelling of Uncle Owen, his voice echoing through the homestead.
Luke! Where could he be loafing now?
Interior Lars Homestead kitchen. The interior of the kitchen is a warm glow of Aunt Beru prepares the morning breakfast. Owen enters in a huff.
Have you seen Luke this morning?
He had some things to do before he started today, so he left early.
Did he take those 2 new droids with him?
I think so.
Well, he better have those units in the south range prepared by midday, or he'll have hell to pay.
External Tatooine, desert wasteland, Luke's speeder day. The rock and sand of the desert floor are a blur as 3PO pilots the sleek land speeder gracefully across the vast wasteland. Interior and exterior, Luke's speeder, desert wasteland. Luke leans over the back of the speeder and adjusts something in the motor compartment.
How's that?
3PO signals that it is fine, and Luke turns back into the wind-whipped cockpit and pops the canopy shut.
Old Ben Kenobi lives out in this direction somewhere, but I don't see how that R2 unit could have come this far. We must have missed him. Uncle Owen isn't going to take this very well.
Sir, would it help if I told him it was my fault?
Sure, he needs you. He'd probably only deactivate you for a day or so.
Deactivate? Well, on the other hand, if you hadn't removed his restraining bolt...
Wait, there's something dead ahead on the scanner. It looks like our droid. Hit the accelerator.
External Tatooine Rock Mesa Dune Sea coastline day. From high on a rock mesa, the tiny land speeder can be seen gliding across the desert floor. Suddenly, in the foreground, two weather-beaten sand people shrouded in their grimy desert clothes peer over the edge of the rock mesa. One of the marginally human creatures raises a long, ominous laser rifle and points it at the speeder, but the second creature grabs the gun before it can be fired. The Sand People, or Tusken Raiders as they're sometimes called, speak in a coarse, barbaric language as they get into an animated argument. The second Tusken Raider seems to get in the final word, and the nomads scurry over the rock terrain. Actually, that makes sense now, this whole situation. External Tatooine Rock Mesa Canyon. The Tusken Raider approaches two large banthas standing tied to a rock. The monstrous bear-like creatures are as large as elephants with huge red eyes, tremendous looped horns, and long, furry dinosaur-like tails. The Tusken Raiders mount saddles strapped to the huge creatures' shaggy backs and ride off down the rugged bluff. External shot Tatooine Rock Canyon. The speeder is parked on the floor of a massive canyon. Luke, with his long laser rifle slung over his shoulder, stands before little R2.
Hey, whoa, just where do you think you're going?
The little droid whistles a feebly reply as 3PO poses menacingly behind the little runaway.
Master Luke here is your rightful owner. We'll have no more of this Obi-Wan Kenobi gibberish. And don't talk to me about your mission either. You're fortunate he doesn't blast you into a million pieces right here.
Well, come on, it's getting late. I only hope we can get back before Uncle Owen really blows up.
If you don't mind me saying so, sir, I think you should deactivate this little fugitive until you've gotten him back into your workshop.
Nah, he's not going to try anything.
Suddenly, the little robot jumps to life with a mass of frantic whistles and screams.
Oh, what's wrong with him now?
Oh my, sir. He says there are several creatures approaching from the southeast.
Luke swings his rifle into position and looks to the south.
Sand people, or worse. Come on, let's have a look. Come on.
External Tatooine Rock Canyon Ridge. Luke carefully makes his way to the top of the rock ridge and scans the canyon with his electro-binoculars. He spots the two riderless banthas. 3PO struggles up behind the young adventurer.
There are two banthas down there, but I don't see any... wait a second. There's sand people, all right. I can see one of them now.
Luke watches the distant Tusken Raider through his electro-binoculars. Suddenly, something huge moves in front of his field of view. Before Luke and 3PO can react, large, gruesome Tusken Raider looms over them. 3PO is startled and backs away right off to the side of the cliff and can be heard for several moments as he clangs, bangs, and rattles down the side of the mountain. Yep. We should be praising the editor in this movie. The towering creature brings down his curved, double-pointed Gaddarfy. How do you say that? Gaddarfy?
Yeah.
The dreaded axe blade that has struck terror in the heart of the local settlers. But Luke manages to block the blow with his laser rifle, which is smashed into pieces. The terrified farm boy scrambles backwards until he's forced to the edge of a deep crevice. The sinister raider stands over him with his weapon raised and lets out a horrible, shrieking laugh. There we go. That's awesome.
Man, something we were waiting for that moment.
Yeah, We were all waiting for that. External shot Tatooine rock canyon floor. R2 forces himself into the shadows of the small alcove in the rocks of the vicious sand people walk past, carrying the inert Luke Skywalker, who is dropped in a heap before the speeder. The sand people ransack the speeder, throwing parts and supplies in all directions. Suddenly they stop, and everything is quiet for a few moments. The great howling moan is heard echoing through the canyon, which sends the sand people fleeing in terror. Nice. R2 moves even tighter into the shadows as the slight swishing sound that frightened off the sand people grows even closer, until the shabby old desert rat of a man appears and leans over Luke, his ancient leathery face, cracked and weathered by exotic climates, has set off by the dark, penetrating eyes and a scraggly white beard. Ben Kenobi squints his eyes as he scrutinizes the unconscious farm boy. R2 makes a slight sound, and Ben turns and looks right at him.
Wait for it.
Hello there. Come here, my little friend. Don't be afraid.
R2 waddles over where Luke lies crumpled in a heap and begins to whistle and beep his concern. Ben puts his hand on Luke's forehead and he begins to come around.
Don't worry. He'll be all right.
What happened?
Rest easy, son. You had a busy day. You're fortunate you're still in one piece.
Ben? Ben Kenobi? Oh boy, am I glad to see you.
The Jundland wastes are not to be traveled lightly. Tell me, young Luke, what brings you out this far?
Oh, this little droid. I think he's searching for his former master. I've never seen such devotion in a droid before. There seems to be no stopping him. He claims to be the property of an Obi-Wan Kenobi. Is he a relative of yours? Do you know who he's talking about?
Ben ponders this for a moment, scratching his scruffy beard.
Obi-Wan Kenobi. Obi-Wan. Now that's a name I haven't heard in a long time. A long time.
I think my uncle knew him. He said he was dead.
Oh, he's not dead. Not yet.
You know him?
Well, of course I know. He's me. I haven't gone by the name Obi-Wan since, before you were born.
Then the droid does belong to you.
Don't seem to ever remember owning a droid. Very interesting.
Sorry.
You're enthralled.
He suddenly looks up at the overhanging cliffs.
I think we better get indoors. Sad people are easily startled, but they will soon be back in greater numbers.
Luke sits up and rubs his head. R2 lets out a pathetic beep, causing Luke to remember something. He looks around.
3PO.
External Tatooine sand pit, rock mesa. Little R2 stands at the edge of a large sand pit and begins to chatter away in electronic whistles and beeps. Luke and Ben stand over the very dented and tangled 3PO. Lying half buried in the sand, one of his arms is broken off. Luke tries to revive the inert robot by shaking him and then flips a hidden switch on his back several times until finally the mechanical man systems turn on.
You try turning it on and off again?
Yeah, exactly. Control-Alt-Delete? Where are we at? Yeah.
I feel like
Where am I? I must have taken a bad step.
Can you stand? We've got to get out of here before the sand people return.
I don't think I can make it. You go, Mr. Luke. There's no sense in you risking yourself on my account. I'm done for.
R2 makes a beeping sound.
No, you're not. What kind of talk is that?
Luke and Ben help the battered robot to his feet. Little R2 watches from the top of the pit. Ben glances around suspiciously, sensing something. He stands up and sniffs the air.
Quickly, son. They're on the move.
Internal Kenobi's dwelling. The small Spartan hovel is cluttered with desert junk, but still manages to radiate an air of time-worn comfort and security. Luke is in one corner repairing 3PO's arm, as old Ben sits thinking.
No, my father didn't fight in the wars. He was a navigator on a spice freighter.
That's what your uncle told you. He didn't hold with your father's ideals. Thought he should have stayed here and not gotten involved.
You fought in the Clone Wars?
Yes, I was once a Jedi Knight, the same as your father.
I wish I'd known him.
He was the best star pilot in the galaxy, and a cunning warrior. I understand you've become quite a good pilot yourself, and he was a good friend, which reminds me.
Ben gets up and goes to the chest where he rummages around. As Luke finishes repairing 3PO, he starts to fit the restraining bolt back on. 3PO looks at him nervously. Luke thinks about the bolt for a moment, then puts it on the table. Ben shuffles up and presents Luke with a short handle with several electronic gadgets attached to it.
I have something here for you. Your father wanted you to have this when you were old enough, but your uncle wouldn't allow it. He feared you might follow old Obi-Wan on some damn fool, idealistic crusade like your father did.
Sir, if you're not needing me, I'll close down for a while.
Sure, go ahead.
Ben hands Luke the saber.
What is it?
Your father's lightsaber. This is the weapon of a Jedi Knight, not as clumsy or as random as a blaster.
Luke pushes a button on the handle. A long beam shoots out about 4 feet and flickers there. 4 feet? Holy jeez. The light plays across the ceiling.
An elegant weapon for a more civilized time. For over 1,000 generations, the Jedi Knights were the guardians of peace and justice in the Old Republic, before the Dark Times, before the Empire.
Luke hasn't really been listening.
How did my father die?
It's classic.
A young Jedi named Darth Vader, who was a pupil of mine until he turned to evil, helped the Empire hunt down and destroy the Jedi Knights. He betrayed and murdered your father. Now the Jedi are all but extinct. Vader was seduced by the dark side of the Force.
The Force?
Well, the Force is what gives a Jedi his power. It's an energy field created by all living things. It surrounds us and penetrates us. It binds the galaxy together.
R2 makes beeping sounds.
Now, let's see if we can't figure out where you are, my little friend, and where you come from.
I saw a part of the message. He was... Luke.
Sorry, me. Sorry. That's funny because I actually thought that he was stumbling on the line. I'm like, I was going to try to find it for you. Luke is cut short as the recorded image of the beautiful young rebel princess is projected from R2's face. That's amazing. Oh, now it's you.
Okay. I seem to have found it.
Luke stops his work as the lovely girl's image flickers before his eyes.
General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire. I regret that I am unable to present my father's request to you in person, but my ship has fallen under attack. I'm afraid my mission to bring you to Alderaan has failed. I have placed information vital to the survival of the rebellion into the memory systems of this R2 unit. My father will know how to retrieve it. You must see this droid safely delivered to him on Alderaan. This is our most desperate hour. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. You're my only hope.
There is a little static from the transmission, and the transmission is cut short. Old Ben leans back and scratches his head. He silently puffs on a tarnished chrome water pipe. Luke, has stars in his eyes.
You must learn the ways of the Force if you are to come with me to Alderaan.
Alderaan? I'm not going to Alderaan. I've got to go home. It's late. I'm in for it as it is.
I need your help, Luke. She needs your help. I'm getting too old for this sort of thing.
I can't get involved. I've got work to do. It's not that I like the Empire. I hate it. But there's nothing I can do about it right now. It's such a long way away from here.
That's your uncle talking.
Oh, God, my uncle. How am I ever going to explain this?
Learn about the Force, Luke.
Look, I can take you as far as Anchorhead. You can get a transport there to Mos Eisley or wherever you're going.
You must do what you'll feel is right, of course.
Exterior space. The Imperial Star Destroyer heads towards the evil planet-like battle station, the Death Star. Interior Death Star. Conference room. 8 Imperial senators and generals sit around a black conference table. Imperial stormtroopers stand guard around the room. Commander Tog. Is that how you say it? Tog. A young, slimy-looking general is speaking.
Until this battle station is fully operational, we are vulnerable. The Rebel Alliance is too well equipped, and they're more dangerous than you realize.
A bitter Admiral Mati twists nervously in his chair.
Dangerous to your Starfleet, Commander, not to this battle station. The rebellion will continue to gain support in the Imperial Senate as long as...
Suddenly, all the heads turn as Commander Tug's speech is cut short, and Grand Moff Tarkin, General of the Imperial Outland regions, enters. He is followed by his powerful ally, the Sith Lord Darth Vader. All of the generals stand and bow before the thin, evil-looking governor as he takes his place at the head of the table. The Dark Lord stands behind him.
The Imperial Senate will no longer be of any concern to us. I've received word that the Emperor has dissolved the Council permanently. The last remnants of the old Republic have been swept away.
That's impossible. How will the Empire maintain control without the bureaucracy?
The regional generals now have direct control over the territories. Fear will keep their local systems in line. Fear of this battle station.
One of the rebellion! If rebels have maintained a complete technical reader of this station, it is possible, however unlikely, that they might find a weakness and exploit it.
The plans you refer to will soon be back in our hands.
Any attack made on rebels against this station would be a useless gesture. No matter what technical data they've obtained, this station is now the ultimate power in the universe. I suggest we use it.
Don't be too proud of this technological terror you've constructed. The ability to destroy a planet is insignificant next to the power of the Force.
Don't try frightening us with your sorcerer's ways, Lord Vader. Your sad devotion to that ancient religion does not help you conjure up the stolen data tapes or giving you clairvoyance enough to find the rebels' hidden fort.
Suddenly, Mati chokes and starts to turn blue under Vader's spell.
I find your lack of faith disturbing.
Enough of this, Vader. Release him.
As you wish.
This bickering is pointless. Lord Vader will provide us with the location of the rebel fortress by the time the station is operational. We will crush the rebellion with one swift stroke.
Ooh,
And flick.
Yeah, external shot Tatooine wasteland. The speeder stops before what remains of a huge Jawa sandcrawler. Luke and Ben walk among the smoldering rubble and scattered bodies. It looks like... scattered bodies.
It looks like sand people did this all right. Look, there are gaffy sticks, bantha tracks. It's just... I've never heard of them hitting anything this big before.
Ben is crouching in the sand, studying the tracks.
They didn't, but we are meant to think they did. These tracks are side by side. Sand people always ride single file to hide their numbers.
These are the same Jawas that sold us R2 and 3PO.
And these blast points, too accurate for sand people. Only Imperial stormtroopers are so precise.
No, they're not.
You're right.
No, they're not at all.
Why would Imperial troops want to slaughter Jawas?
Luke looks back at the speeder where R2 and 3PO are inspecting the dead Jawas and put 2 and 2 together.
If they trace the robots here, they may have learned who they sold them to, and that would lead them home!
Luke reaches a sudden horrible realization, then races for the speeder and jumps in.
Wait, Luke, it's too dangerous.
Luke races off, leaving Ben and the 2 robots alone with the burning sand crawler. External shot, Tatooine, wasteland. Luke races across the wasteland in his battered land speeder. External shot, Tatooine, Lars' homestead. The speeder roars up to the burning homestead. Luke jumps out and runs to the smoking holes that was once his home. Debris is scattered everywhere, and it looks as if great battle has taken place.
Uncle Owen and Peru! Uncle Owen!
Luke stumbles around in a daze looking for his aunt and uncle. Suddenly he comes upon their smoldering remains. He's stunned and cannot speak. Hate replaces fear, and a new resolve comes over him. External shot, space. Imperial TIE fighter races towards the Death Star. Interior shot, Death Star. Detention corridor. 2 stormtroopers open an electronic cell door and allow several Imperial guards to enter. Princess Leia's face is filled with defiance, which slowly gives way to fear as giant black torture robot enters, followed by Darth Vader.
And now, Your Highness, we will discuss the location of your hidden rebel base.
The torture robot gives off a steady beeping sound as it approaches Princess Leia and extends one of its mechanical arms, bearing a large hypodermic needle. The door slides shut and a long cell block hallway appears peaceful. The muffled screams of the rebel princess are barely heard. External shot, Tatooine. Wasteland.
I don't do violence!
Can you imagine Vader doing that on screen? I don't do violence.
That needle was ridiculous. External shot, Tatooine, wasteland. There is a large bonfire of Jawa bodies blazing in front of the sandcrawler as Ben and the robots finish burning the dead. Luke drives up in the speeder and Ben walks over to him.
There's nothing you could have done, Luke. Had you been there, you'd have been killed too, and the droids would be in the hands of the Empire.
I want to come with you to Alderaan. There's nothing here for me now. I want to learn the ways of the Force and become a Jedi like my father.
External shot, Tatooine, wasteland. The land speeder with Luke, R2, 3PO, and Ben in it zooms across the desert. The speeder stops at a bluff overlooking the spaceport at Mos Eisley. It is a haphazard array of low, gray, concrete structures and semi-domes. A harsh gale blows across the stark canyon floor. Luke adjusts his goggles and walks to the edge of a craggy bluff where Ben is standing.
Oh, shoot. Sorry. I accidentally moved the page. God dang it! I lost the page!
We're on
Page 45.
45.
We're on 45? Cool. Yeah.
Thank you.
Take your time. Take your time.
Right.
Halfway, 3/4 of the way down.
There we go.
50.
All right. We got it.
Boss I see.
Right. Mos Eisley, spaceport. You'll never find you'll never find a more wretched hive of scum and villainy. We must be cautious.
Ben looks over at Luke, who gives the old Jedi a determined smile. External shot, Tatooine, Mos Eisley, in the street. The speeder is stopped on a crowded street of several combat-hardened stormtroopers who look over the 2 robots. A trooper questions Luke.
How long have you had these droids?
About 3 or 4 seasons.
They're for sale if you want them.
Let me see your identification.
Luke becomes very nervous as he fumbles to find his ID, while Ben speaks to the trooper in a very controlled voice.
You don't need to see his identification.
We don't need to see his identification.
These are not the droids you are looking for.
These are not the droids we're looking for.
He can go about his business.
You can go about your business.
Move along.
Move along. Move along.
External shot, Tatooine, Mos Eisley Street. The speeder pulls up in front of a rundown blockhouse cantina on the outskirts of the spaceport. Various strange forms of transport, including several unusual beasts of burden, are parked outside the bar. A Jawa runs up and begins to fondle the speeder. Awkward.
I can't abide these Jawas. Disgusting creatures.
As Luke gets out of the speeder, he tries to shoo the Java away.
Go on. I can't understand how we got by those troopers. I thought we were dead.
The Force can have a strong influence on the weak-minded. You will find it is a powerful ally.
Do you really think we're going to find a pilot here that'll take us to Alderaan?
Well, most of the best freighter pilots can be found here. Only watch your step. This place can be a little bit rough.
I'm ready for anything.
Come along, R2.
Internal shot, Tatooine, Mos Eisley, Cantina. The young adventurer and his two mechanical servants follow Ben Kenobi into the smoke-filled cantina. The murky, moldy den is filled with a startling array of weird and exotic alien creatures and monsters at the long metallic bar. At first, the sight is horrifying. One-eyed, thousand-eyed, slimy, furry, scaly, tentacled, and clawed creatures huddle over drinks. Ben moves to an empty spot at the bar near the group of repulsive human scum. A huge, rough-looking bartender stops Luke and the robots.
Hey, we don't serve those kind here.
Luke, still recovering from the shock of seeing so many outlandish creatures, doesn't quite catch the bartender's drift.
What?
You're droids. They'll have to wait outside. We don't want them here.
Luke looks at old Ben, who's busy talking to one of the galactic pirates. He notices several of the gruesome creatures along the bar, giving him a very unfriendly glare. Luke puts 3PO on the shoulder.
Listen, why don't you go wait out by the speeder? We don't want any trouble.
I heartedly agree with you, sir.
3PO and his stubby partner go outside, and most of the creatures at the bar go back to their drinks. Ben is standing next to Chewbacca, an 8-foot-tall, savage-looking creature resembling a huge gray bush baby monkey with fierce baboon-like fangs.
Great. This guy.
That's
Perfect.
it.
Note that this is the 4th revision of this script, by the way.
Reminds me of PJ.
Thank you. Awesome. His large blue eyes dominate a fur-covered face and soften his otherwise awesome appearance. Over his matted, furry body, he wears 2 chrome bandoliers and little else. He is 200-year-old Wookiee and a sight to behold. Ben speaks to the Wookiee, pointing to Luke several times. During his conversation and the huge creature suddenly lets out a horrifying laugh. Can we all do Chewie? Do we all do a Chewie?
There we go.
Ben speaks to the Wookiee, pointing to several. Oh, we got the horrifying laugh. Luke is more than a little disconcerted and pretends not to hear the conversation between Ben and the giant Wookiee. Luke is terrified but tries not to show it. He quickly sips his drink, looking over to the crowd, a more sympathetic ear or whatever. A large, multi-eyed creature gives Luke a rough shove.
Negala Dawagi Maghuldugger?
The hideous freak is obviously drunk. Luke tries to ignore the human and turns back to his drink. A short, grubby human and an even smaller rodent-like beast join the belligerent monstrosity.
He doesn't like you.
I'm sorry.
I don't like you either.
The big creature is getting agitated and yells out some unintelligible gibberish at the now rather nervous young adventurer.
Don't insult us. You just watch yourself. We're wanted men. I have the death sentence in 12 systems.
I'll be careful then.
You'll be dead.
The rodent lets out a large grunt and everything at the bar moves away. Luke tries to remain cool, but it isn't easy. His 3 adversaries ready their weapons. Old Ben moves in behind Luke.
This little one isn't worth the effort. Come let me buy you something.
A powerful blow from the unpleasant creature sends the young would-be Jedi sailing across the room, crashing through tables and breaking a large jug filled with a foul-looking liquid. With a blood-curdling shriek, the monster draws a wicked chrome laser pistol from his belt and levels it at Ben. The bartender panics.
No blasters! No blaster!
With astounding agility, old Ben's laser sword, by the way, is what it says here. Old Ben's laser sword sparks to life and in a flash, an arm lies on the floor. The rodent is cut in two, and the giant multiple-eyed creature lies doubled, cut from chin to groin. Ben carefully and precisely turns off his laser sword and replaces it on his utility belt. Luke, shaking and totally amazed by the old man's abilities, attempts to stand. The entire fight has lasted only a matter of seconds. The cantina goes back to normal, although Ben is given a respectable amount of room at the bar. Luke, rubbing his bruised head, approaches the old man with a new awe. Ben points then to the Wookiee.
This is Chewbacca. He's first mate on a ship that might suit our needs.
External shot, Tatooine, Mos Eisley. Street. 3PO paces in front of the cantina as R2 carries on an electronic conversation with another little red astrodroid. A creature comes out of the cantina and approaches two stormtroopers on the street.
I don't like the look of this.
Internal Tatooine, Mos Eisley, cantina. Strange creatures play exotic big band music on odd-looking instruments as Luke, still giddy. Oh, did Adrian leave? Where did Adrian go? Oh, he nice, keep going. Where Han Solo's sitting. Han is a tough, roguish starpiler about 30 years old, a mercenary on a starship. He is simple, sentimental, and cocksure.
Sentimental?
Yeah. Oh, Adrian. Cantina music. Hit it.
Cantina!
Oh, but
Yeah. Han Solo. I'm captain of the Millennium Falcon. Chewie here tells me you're looking for passage to the Alderaan system.
Yes, indeed. If it's a fast ship.
Fast ship? You've never heard of the Millennium Falcon?
Should I have?
It's the ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
Ben reacts to Solo's stupid attempt to impress him with an obvious misinformation. Whoa! Whoa!
Hey. This wasn't legit.
No.
Dang!
Wow. Yeah, wow. Keep going. Yeah.
Fake news. I've outrun Imperial starships, not the local bulk cruisers, mind you. I'm talking about the big Corellian ships now. She's fast enough for you, old man. What's the cargo?
Only passengers. Myself, the boy, 2 droids, and no questions asked.
What is it? Some kind of local trouble?
Let's just say we'd like to avoid any Imperial entanglements.
Well, that's the trick, isn't it? And it's going to cost you extra. 10,000 in advance?
10,000? We could almost buy our own ship for that.
But who's going to fly it, kid? You?
You bet I could. I'm not such a bad pilot myself. We don't have to sit here and listen.
We haven't heard that much. We haven't that much with us, but we could pay you 2,000 now, plus 15 when we reach Alderaan.
17, huh?
Han ponders this for a few moments.
Okay, you guys got yourself a ship. We'll leave as soon as you're ready. Docking Bay 94.
ID4.
Looks like somebody's beginning to take an interest in your handiwork.
Ben and Luke turn around and see 4 Imperial stormtroopers looking at dead bodies and asking the bartender some questions. The bartender points to the booth.
All right, we'll check it out.
The stormtroopers look over at the booth, but Luke and Ben are gone. The bartender shrugs his shoulders in puzzlement.
17,000? These guys must be really desperate. This could really save my neck. Get back to the ship and get her ready.
External shot, Tatooine, Mos Eisley. Street.
Ben.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
You'll have to sell your speeder.
That's okay. Never coming back to this planet again.
Internal shot, Mos Eisley, Cantina. As Han is about to leave, Greedo, a slimy-faced alien with a short trunk nose, points a gun at his side. The creature speaks in a foreign tongue translated into English subtitles.
Iguadaguadoodoo, Solo.
Going somewhere, Solo? I'll be your subtitles. Go for it. Yeah.
Yes, Greedo. As a matter of fact, I was just going to see your boss. Tell Jabba that I've got his money.
Han sits down, and the alien sits across from him, holding the gun on him. It's too late. You should have paid him when you had the chance. Jabba's put a price on your head, so large that every bounty hunter in the galaxy will be looking for you. I'm lucky I found you first.
Yeah, but this time I've got the money.
If you give it to me, I might forget I found you.
I don't have it with me. Tell Jabba.
Jabba's through with you. He has no time for smugglers who drop their shipments at the first sign of an Imperial cruiser.
Even I get boarded sometimes. Do you think I had a choice?
Han Solo slowly reaches for his gun under the table. You can tell that to Jabba. He may only take your ship.
Over my dead body.
Anima. That's the idea. I've been looking forward to killing you for a long time.
Yes, I'll bet you have.
Here we go. Let's see how this is written, folks. Suddenly the slimy alien disappears in a blinding flash of light. Han pulls his smoking gun from beneath the table as the other patron look up in bemused amazement. Han gets up and starts out of the cantina, flipping the bartender some coins as he leaves.
Han shot first.
Han shot
first.
Han shot only.
Wait.
Greedo didn't
What
even
if somebody
shoot it
said earlier that
Exactly.
it wasn't? It's an older script, so
This is
didn't shoot first.
This is absolute canon right here. There's no better canon than this situation. Han, go for it.
Sorry about the mess.
External shot space. Several TIE fighters approach the Death Star. Nice. Internal shot Death Star control room.
Her resistance to the mind probe is considerable. It will be some time before we can extract any information from her.
An Imperial officer interrupts the meeting.
Well, final check is complete. All systems are operational. What course shall we set?
Jim Bob.
Perhaps she would respond to an alternative form of persuasion.
What do you mean?
I think it's time we demonstrate the full power of this station. Set your course for Princess Leia's home planet of Alderaan.
With pleasure.
External shot Tatooine Mos Eisley. We're back to Mos Eisley Street. 4 heavily armed stormtroopers have menacingly, thank you, menacingly along a narrow slum alleyway crowded with the darkly clad creatures hawking exotic goods in the dingy little stalls. Men, monsters, and robots crouch in the waste-filled doorways, whispering and hiding from the hot winds.
Lock the door, R2.
One of the troopers checks a tightly locked door and moves on down the alleyway. The door slides open a crack, and 3PO peeks out. R2 is barely visible in the background.
All right, check the side of the street. It's secure. Move on to the next door.
The door opens. 3PO moves into the doorway.
I would have much rather gone with Master Luke than stayed here with you. I don't know what all the trouble is about. Sure, it must be your fault.
R2 makes beeping sounds.
You watch your language!
External shot Tatooine Mos Eisley Street alleyway. Ben and Luke are standing speeder lot. Oh my goodness, there's a speeder lot scene. Crazy. Speeder lot. Ben and Luke are standing in the sleazy used speeder lot talking with a tall, grotesque, insect-like used speeder dealer. Strange exotic bodies and spindly-legged beasts pass by as the insect concludes the sale by giving Luke some coins. Yikes.
He says it's the best he can do since the XP-38 came out. They're just not in demand.
It'll be enough.
Ben and Luke leave the speeder lot and walk down the dusty alleyway past a small robot herding a bunch of anteater-like creatures. Luke turns and gives one last forlorn look at his faithful speeder as he rounds a corner. A darkly clad creature moves out of the shadows as they pass and watch them as they
we get the
disappear
cutscene.
down the alley. Yeah, I think we do. Yep.
Or the additional, they did this in the new
The docking
when they
bay.
remastered it, right? Yeah.
Java.
Yeah, we're gonna
If
get
the
that.
ship's as fast as he's boasting, we ought to do well.
Interior shot, docking bay. Jabba the Hutt and a half dozen grisly alien pirates and purple creatures stand in the middle of the docking bay. Jabba is the gross of slaving hunks and his slavering hulks, and his scarred face is a grim testimonial to his prowess as a vicious killer. He is fat, slug-like creature with eyes on extended feelers and a huge, ugly mouth.
Come out here, Solo.
Perfect. A voice from directly behind the pirates startles them, and they turn around and see Han Solo, the great Wookiee, and the great Wookiee Chewbacca standing behind them with no weapons in sight.
I've been waiting for you, John.
I expected you would be.
I'm not I can run.
Han, my boy, there are times when you disappoint me. Why haven't you paid me? And why didn't you have to fry poor Guido like that? After all, we've been through together.
Did you make any Godfather vibes, please?
No, it's reminding me of Men in Black. Sugar water. I want sugar water. Yep.
You sent Greedo to blast me.
Han, why? You're the best smuggler in the business. You're too valuable to fry. He was only relaying my concern to your delays. He wasn't gonna blast you.
I think he thought he was. Next time, don't send one of those twerps. If you've got something to say to me, come see me yourself.
Han. If you hadn't had to dump that shipment of spice, you understand I just can't make an exception. Where would I be if every pilot who smuggled from me dumped a shipment at the first sign of an Imperial starship? It's just not good business.
Starting to sound like Cartman.
Yeah. We will respect his authority. Even I get bored sometimes, Jabba. I had no choice, but I've got a charter now, and I can pay you back. Plus a little extra. I just need some more time.
Put your blasters away! Han, my boy, I've only been doing this. You're the best, and I need you. So for an extra, say, 20%, I'll give you a little more, but this is it. If you just want me again, I'm gonna put a price on your head so large you won't be able to go near a civilized system for the rest of your short life.
Jabba, I'll pay you because it's my pleasure.
External shot docking port entry. I like that whole scene way better the way we did it. Yeah. Dear Mr. Lucas, external shot docking port entry alleyway. Chewbacca awaits restlessly at the entrance of the docking bay. Ben, Luke, and the robots make their way up the street. Chewbacca jabbers excitedly and signals for them to come in a hurry. The darkly clad creature has followed them from the speeder lot. He stops in a nearby doorway and speaks to a small transmitter. Interior shot Mos Eisley Spaceport docking bay. Chewbacca leads the group into a giant dirt pile that is docking bay 97. Resting in the middle of that huge hole is a large, round, beat-up, pieced-together hunk of junk that could only loosely be called a starship.
Ouch.
What a piece of junk!
The tall figure of Han Solo comes down the boarding ramp.
She'll make 0.5 beyond the speed of light. She may not look like much, but she's got it where it counts, kid. I've added some special modifications myself.
Luke scratches his head. It's obvious he isn't sure about all this. Chewbacca rushes up the ramp and urges the others to follow.
We're all a little rushed, so if you'll hurry aboard, we'll get out of here.
The group rushes up the gangplank, passing a grinned Han Solo. Interior shot, Millennium Falcon. Chewbacca settles into the pilot's chair and starts the mighty engines of the starship. Interior, Mos Eisley Spaceport, docking bay. Luke, Ben, 3PO, and R2 move toward the Millennium Falcon, passing Solo.
Hello, sir.
Exterior Tatooine, Mos Eisley. 8 Imperial stormtroopers rush up to the darkly clad creature.
Which one?
The darkly clad creature points to the door of the docking bay.
All right, man. Load your weapons.
Interior Mos Eisley spaceport docking bay. The troops hold their guns at the ready and charge down the docking bay entrance. Stop that ship! Sorry, and docking bay entrance.
Stop that ship.
Han Solo looks up and I'm stealing people's lines. I'm sorry. Han Solo looks up and sees the Imperial stormtroopers rushing into the docking bay. Several of the troopers fire at Han as he ducks into the spaceship.
Blast him.
Han draws his laser pistol and pops off a couple shots, which force the stormtroopers to dive for safety. The pirate ship engines whine as Han hits the release button that slams the overhead entry shut. Interior shot, Millennium Falcon.
Chewie, get us out of here.
The group straps in for takeoff.
Oh my, I've forgotten how much I hate space travel.
Exterior shot, Tatooine, Mos Eisley. The half-dozen stormtroopers at the checkpoint hear the general alarm and look to the sky as the huge starship rises above the dingy slum dwellings and quickly disappears into the morning sky. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Han climbs into the pilot's chair next to Chewbacca, who chatters away as he points to something on the radar scope. Exterior shot, space, planet Tatooine. The Corellian pirate ship zooms from Tatooine into space. Interior shot, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Han frantically types information into the ship's computer. Little R2 appears momentarily at the cockpit doorway, makes a few beeping remarks, then scurries away.
It looks like an Imperial cruiser. Our passengers must be hotter than I thought. Try and hold them off. Angle the deflector shield while I make the calculations for the jump to light speed.
Exterior shot, space, planet Tatooine. The Millennium Falcon pirate ship races away from the yellow planet Tatooine. It is followed by 2 huge Imperial Star Destroyers. Interior shot, Millennium Falcon cockpit. Over the shoulders of Chewbacca and Han, we can see that the galaxy spread before them. Luke and Ben make their way into the cramped cockpit where Han continues his calculations.
Stay sharp. There are 2 more coming in. They're going to try and cut us off.
Why don't you try and outrun them? I thought you said this thing was fast.
Watch your mouth, kid, or you're going to find yourself floating home. We'll be safe enough once we make the jump to hyperspace. Besides, I know a few maneuvers. We'll lose them.
Exterior shot, space, planet Tatooine. Imperial cruisers fire at the pirate ship. Interior, Millennium Falcon cockpit. The ship shudders as an explosion flashes outside the window. Flashes outside the window.
Here's where the fun begins.
Ben!
Oh, shoot. What?
He's in chat.
Scene 81.
Oh, sorry. I did not. Here's where the fun begins.
Page 61. 61.
Page 60.
He's there.
Scene 81.
Scene 81. Yeah, you're right. Good call. Thank you.
Yeah. 81?
Scene 81. Yeah. On the left-hand side is the numbers.
Oh, okay. Right. Sorry, I completely missed that there was one here for me.
Yeah.
How long before you could make the jump to light speed?
Yes.
It'll take a few moments. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. It'll take a few moments to get the coordinates from the Navi computer.
The ship begins to rock violently as lasers hit it.
Are you kidding? At the rate they're gaining.
Traveling through hyperspace isn't like dusting crops, boy. Without precise calculations, we could fly right through a star or bounce too close to a supernova, and that'd end your trip real quick, wouldn't it?
The ship is now constantly battered with laser fire as a red warning light begins to flash.
What's that flashing?
We're losing our deflector shield. Go strap yourself in. I'm going to make the jump to light speed.
The galaxy brightens and they move faster, almost as if crashing a barrier. Stars become streaks and the pirate ship makes the jump to hyperspace. Exterior shot, space. The Millennium Falcon zooms into infinity in less than a second.
To infinity!
Nice.
And to Alderaan.
Nice. Exterior shot, Death Star. Alderaan looms behind the Death Star battle station. Interior Death Star control room. Admiral Motti enters the quiet control room and bows before Governor Tarkin, who stands before the huge wall screen displaying a small green planet.
We've entered the Alderaan system.
Vader and 2 stormtroopers enter with Princess Leia. Her hands are bound.
Governor Tarkin, I should have expected to find you holding Vader's leash. Recognized your foul stench when I was brought aboard.
Charming to the last. You don't know how hard I found it signing the order to terminate your life.
Gotta do the hands.
Oh, yeah.
Come on, Danny.
I'm surprised you had the courage to take responsibility yourself.
Princess Leia, before your execution, I would love to be my guest at a ceremony that will make this battle station completely operational. No star system will dare oppose the Emperor now.
The more you tighten your grip, Tarkin, the more star systems will slip through your fingers.
Not after we demonstrate the power of this station. In a way, you have determined the choice of the planet that'll be destroyed first. Since you're reluctant to provide us with the location of the rebel base, I have chosen to test the station's destructive power on your home planet of Alderaan.
No! Alderaan is peaceful. We have no weapons. You can't possibly...
You would prefer another target? A military target? Then name the system.
Tarkin waves menacingly towards Leia.
I grow tired of asking this, so it'll be the last time. Where is the rebel base?
Leia overhears an intercom voice announcing the approach to Alderaan.
Dantooine. They're... Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Leia lowers her head.
They're on Dantooine.
There, you see, Lord Vader? She can be reasonable. Continue with the operation. You can fire when ready.
What?
You're far too trusting. Dantooine is too remote to make an effective demonstration. But don't worry, we'll deal with your rebel friends soon enough.
No!
Interior shot Death Star blast chamber. Commence... Oh, no, it's you, sorry. Sorry.
Spicy.
Commence primary ignition.
Yikes, I don't want to step on Lily's toes here. A button is pressed which switches on a panel of lights. A hooded Imperial soldier Nice, good sound effect. A hooded Imperial soldier reaches overhead and pulls a lever. Another lever is pulled. Vader reaches for still another lever. And a bank of lights on a panel. Oh my goodness, this startup procedure is painful.
Oh, he
on a
does
panel.
it? Oh, wow.
He's a part
I
of
didn't
it.
clue in that Vader's the one that was like, do the thing.
Probably, yeah. Well, it's just so that nobody accidentally leans on the console and destroys an entire planet. I get it. That's
Pull
fine.
the lever.
A huge beam of light emanates from the cone-shaped area and converges into a single laser beam out towards Alderaan. The small planet of Alderaan is blown into space dust. Interior shot, Millennium Falcon. Ben watches Luke practice the lightsaber with a small seeker robot. Ben suddenly turns away and sits down. He falters, seems almost faint.
Are you all right? What's wrong?
I felt a great disturbance in the Force, as if millions of voices suddenly cried out in terror and were suddenly silenced. I feel something terrible has happened.
Ben rubs his forehead. He seems to drift into a trance. Then he fixes his gaze on Luke.
You'd better get on with your exercises.
Han Solo enters the room.
Well, you can forget your troubles with those Imperial slugs. I told you I'd outrun them.
Luke is once again practicing with the lightsaber.
Don't everyone thank me at once.
3PO watches Chewbacca and R2, who are engrossed in a game in which three-dimensional holographic figures move across a chess-type board.
Anyway, we should be at Alderaan in, 200 hours?
200 hours?
Oh, 200.
That's a huge difference. They were there like
Okay, well, everybody
They don't
buckle.
have days? They can't round up? Jeez
No, not at all.
Louise.
I think it's like a child when you refer to your baby as an 18-month-old baby. I think it's the same thing. Chewbacca and the R2 immediately reaches. Chest board, 200 hours. Chewbacca and the two robots sit around the lighted table covered with small holographic monsters. Each side of the table has a small computer monitor embedded in it. Chewbacca seems very pleased with himself as he rests his lanky, fur-covered arms over his head.
Now be careful, R2.
Oh, not yet. Yeah. R2 immediately reaches up and taps the computer with his stubby claw hand, causing one of the holographic creatures to walk to the new square, suddenly frowned across his Chewbacca's face, and he begins yelling gibberish at the tiny robot. 3PO intercedes on behalf of his small companion and begins to argue with the huge Wookiee.
He made a fair move. Screaming about it won't help you.
Let him have it. It's not wise to upset a Wookiee.
But, sir, nobody worries about upsetting a droid.
That's because droids don't pull people's arms out of their socket when they lose. Wookiees are known to do that.
See your point, sir. Just a new strategy, R2. Let the Wookiee win.
Luke stands in the middle of a small hold area. He seems frozen in place. A humming lightsaber is held high above his head. Ben watches him from the corner, studying his movements. Han watches with a bit of smugness.
Remember, a Jedi can feel the Force flowing through him.
You mean it controls your actions?
Partially, but it also obeys your commands.
Suspended at eye level, about 10 feet in front of Luke, a Seeker, a chrome baseball-like robot covered in antennae, hovers slowly in a wide arc. The ball floats to one side and the youth and then the other. Suddenly it makes a lightning swift lunge and stops within a few feet of Luke's face. Luke doesn't move and the ball backs off. It slowly moves behind the boy, then makes another quick lunge, this time emitting a blood-red laser beam as it attacks. It hits Luke in the leg, causing him to tumble over. Han lets loose with a burst of laughter.
Wookiee religions and ancient weapons are no match for a good blaster at your side, kid.
You don't believe in the Force, do you?
Kid, I've flown from one side of this galaxy to the other. I've seen a lot of strange stuff, but I've never seen anything to make me believe there's one all-powerful Force controlling everything. There's no energy field equals my distance.
Ben smiles quietly.
It's a lot of simple tricks and nonsense.
I suggest you try it again, Luke.
Ben places a large helmet on Luke's head, which covers his eyes.
This time, let go your conscious self and act on instinct.
With the blast shield down, I can't even see. How am I supposed to fight?
Your eyes can deceive you. Don't trust them.
Han skeptically shakes his head as Ben throws the Seeker into the air. The Seeker, this is Harry Potter now.
I was about to say that.
Totally. The ball shoots straight up in the air, then drops like a rock. Luke swings the lightsaber around blindly, missing the Seeker, which fires off a laser bolt that hits Luke square in the seat of his pants. He lets out a painful yell and attempts to hit the Seeker.
Stretch out with your feelings.
Luke stands in one place, seemingly frozen. The Seeker makes a dive at Luke, and incredibly, he managed to deflect the bolt. The ball ceases fire and moves back to its original position.
You'll see, you can do it.
I call it luck.
In my experience, there's no such thing as luck.
Look, going good against remotes is one thing. Going good against the living, that's something else.
Solo notices a small light flashing on the far side of the control panel.
Looks like we're coming up on Alderaan.
200 hours later they were doing that?
Really good. Yeah, I don't think I have any grasp of time here.
No crap.
12 parsecs? Really?
Yep, exactly. 200 hours, a.k.a. a small training session. Okay, go for it. Sorry. Solo notices small light flashing on the side of his control panel. Go. Han and Chewbacca head back to the cockpit.
You know, I did feel something. I could almost feel the remote.
That's good. You have taken your first step into a larger world.
Internal shot, Death Star. Conference room. Imperial Officer Cass stands before Governor Tarkin and the evil Dark Lord Darth Vader.
Yes? Our scout ships have reached Tatooine. They found the remains of a rebel base, but they estimate that it has been deserted for some time. They are now conducting an extensive search of the surrounding area.
She lied. She lied to us.
I told you she would never consciously betray the rebellion.
Terminate her immediately.
Exterior shot hyperspace. The pirate ship is just coming out of hyperspace. A strange, surreal light show surrounds the ship. Interior shot of Millennium Falcon cockpit.
Stand by, Chewie. Here we go. Cut the sublight engines.
Han pulls back the control lever. Outside the cockpit window, stars begin streaking past, seem to decrease in speed, then stop. Suddenly, the starship begins to shudder and violently shake about. Asteroids begin to race towards them, battering the side of the ship.
What the? We've come out of hyperspace into a meteor shower. Some kind of asteroid collision. It's not on any of the charts.
The Wookiee flips off several controls and seems very cool in the cockpit. Luke makes his way into the bouncing cockpit.
What's going on?
Our position is correct, except no Alderaan.
What do you mean? Where is it?
That's what I'm trying to tell you, kid. It ain't here. It's been totally blown away.
What? How?
Ben moves into the... Oh, come on. Come on.
You're kidding.
Like this was the Wiggles doing it. Like the
I don't
Wiggles
believe it. Come on. Ben moves into the cockpit behind Luke as the ship begins to settle down.
Destroyed by the Empire.
The entire Starfleet couldn't destroy a whole planet. It'd take 1,000 ships with more firepower than I've...
A signal starts flashing on the control panel, and a muffled alarm starts humming.
There's another ship coming in.
Maybe they know what happened.
Oh, it's an Imperial fighter.
Chewbacca barks his concern. A huge explosion bursts outside. By the way, any Chewbacca stuff, we all have to do Chewbacca rule.
I can't do Chewbacca.
That's fine. You gotta fake it somehow. That's the rule. Chewbacca.
Okay.
Chewbacca barks his concern. A huge explosion bursts outside the cockpit window, shaking the ship violently. A tiny finned Imperial TIE fighter races past the cockpit window. Well,
That's very good.
Luke.
It followed us.
No, it's a short-range fighter.
There aren't any bases around here. Where'd it come from?
Exterior shot space. The fighter races past the Carillion pirate ship. Interior shot Millennium Falcon cockpit.
It's SHURE's leaving in a big hurry. If they identify us, we're in big trouble.
Not if I can help it. Chewie, jam its transmissions.
It'd be as well to let it go. It's too far out of range.
Not for long.
Exterior shot
It's
space.
strawberry jam.
They jammed us.
It's been jammed.
Lone Star.
The pirate ship zooms over the camera and away into the vastness of space over the Imperial TIE fighter. Interior shot. Millennium Falcon cockpit. The tension mounts as the pirate ship gains onto the tiny fighter. In the distance, one of the stars becomes brighter until it's obvious that the TIE ship is heading for it. Ben stands behind Chewbacca.
Fighter that size couldn't get this deep into space on its own.
Must have gotten lost. Been part of a convoy or something.
Well, he ain't gonna be around long enough to tell anybody about us.
External space. The TIE fighter is losing ground on the large pirate ship as they race towards camera and disappear overhead. Interior Millennium Falcon cockpit. The distant star can be distinguished as a small moon or planet.
Oh, look at him. He's headed for that small moon.
I think I can get him before he gets there. He's almost in range.
The small moon begins to take on appearance of a monstrous spherical battle station.
Master Moon, it's a space station.
It's too big to be a space station.
I have a very bad feeling about this.
Yeah, I think you're right. Full reverse. Chewie, lock in auxiliary power.
The pirate ship shudders and the TIE fighter accelerates away towards the gargantuan battle station.
Why are we still moving toward it?
We're caught in a tractor beam.
I'm gonna play it like Shaggy now.
I can just keep it Shaggy vibe. I'm like, round.
What? We're still moving toward it. Scooby.
Oh, okay. Sorry. We're caught in a tractor beam. It's pulling us in.
There's gotta be something you can do.
There's nothing I can do about it, kid. I'm in full power. I'm gonna have to shut down, but they're not gonna get me without a fight.
Ben Kenobi puts a hand on his controller.
You can't win, but there are alternatives to fighting.
Interior shot, Millennium Falcon, Death Star. As the battered pirate spaceship is towed closer to the awesome metal moon, the immense size of the massive battle station becomes staggering. Running along
It's like a man wrote
the
this.
equator of the gigantic sphere is a mile-high band of huge docking ports into which the helpless pirate ship is dragged. Exterior shot Death Star, huge port doors. The helpless Millennium Falcon is pulled past the docking port, control room, and huge laser turret cannons. Voiceover Death Star intercom.
Clear Bay 23-7. We are opening the magnetic field.
Interior shot Death Star docking bay 2037. Very specific. The pirate ship is pulled in through the port doors of the Death Star, coming to rest in a huge hangar. 30 stormtroopers stand at attention at the central assembly area.
To your stations. Come with me.
Interior Death Star hallway. Stormtroopers run to their posts. Interior Death Star hangar. A line of stormtroopers march towards the pirate ship in readiness to board it, while other troopers stand with weapons ready to fire.
Close all your outboard shields. Close all outboard shields.
Interior Death Star conference room. Tarkin pushes a button in response to the intercom buzz.
Yes? We've captured a freighter entering the remains of the Alderaan system. Its markings match those of a ship that blasted its way out of Mos Eisley.
They must be trying to return the stolen plans to the princess. She may yet be of some use to us.
Internal shot Death Star docking bay. Vader and the commander approach the troops as an officer and several heavily armed troops exit the spacecraft.
Unlock 157 and 9. Release charges. There's no one on board, sir. According to the log, the crew abandoned ship right after takeoff. It must be a decoy, sir. Several of the escape pods have been jettisoned.
Did you find any droids?
No, sir. If there was any on board, they must have also jettisoned.
Send a scanning crew on board. I want every part of this ship checked.
Yes, sir.
I sense something. A presence I haven't felt since...
Vader turns quickly and exits the hangar.
Get me
I
a
was
scanning
burning
crew.
in fire!
Get me a scanning crew in here on the double. I want every part of the ship checked.
Interior shot Millennium Falcon hallway. By the way, there's a hallway in the Millennium Falcon. A trooper runs through the hallway, headed for the exit. In a few moments, all is quiet. The muffled sounds of a distant officer giving orders finally fade. 2 floor panels suddenly pop up, revealing Han Solo and Luke. Ben Kenobi sticks his head out of a third locker.
Boy, it's lucky you had these compartments.
I use them for smuggling. I never thought I'd be smuggling myself in them. This is ridiculous. Even if I could take off, I'd never get past the tractor beam.
Ben?
Leave that, leave that to me. Sorry.
That's good.
I'm the worst one here.
No, it's good.
Damn fool, I knew that you were going to say that.
Who's the more foolish? The fool or the fool who follows him?
Han shakes his head. Han shakes his head, muttering to himself. Chewbacca agrees.
I'm like the ROUSs from Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah. Those are awesome. Interior shot Death Star, main forward bay. The crewmen carry a heavy box on board the ship. Past the 2 stormtroopers. You know what's interesting? It's not heavy because it's like floating, so it doesn't actually have weight. But anyways, the crewmen carry a heavy box on board the ship. Past the 2 stormtroopers guarding either side of the ramp.
The ship's all yours. If scanners pick up anything, report it immediately. All right, let's go.
The crewmen enter the pirate ship, and a loud crashing sound is followed by a voice calling to the guard below.
Hey down there! Could you give us a hand with this?
The stormtroopers enter the ship, and a quick round of gunfire is heard. Interior shot, Death Star, forward bay, command office. In a very small command office near the entrance of the pirate ship, a gantry officer looks out his window and notices the guards are missing. He speaks into the comm link.
TK421, why aren't you at your posts? TK421, do you copy?
A stormtrooper comes down the ramp of the pirate ship and waves to the gantry officer, pointing to his ear, indicating his comm link is not working. The gantry officer shakes his head in disgust and heads to the door, giving his aide an annoyed look.
Take over. We've got a bad transmitter. I'll see what I can do.
As the officer approaches the door, it slides open, revealing the towering Chewbacca. The gantry officer, in a momentary state of shock, stumbles backward with a bone-chilling howl. The giant Wookiee flattens the officer with one blow.
Really? The Chewbacca...
Yes.
Bone-chilling howl.
Oh, perfect. The aide immediately reaches for his pistol, but is blasted by Han. Pew! Dressed as an Imperial stormtrooper, Ben and the robots enter the room quickly, followed by Luke, also dressed as a stormtrooper. Luke quickly removes his helmet.
You know, between this howling and your blasting everything in sight, it's a wonder this whole station doesn't know we're here.
Bring 'em on. I prefer a straight like all this sneaking around.
We found the computer outlet, sir.
Ben feeds some information into the computer, and a map of the city appears on the monitor. He begins to inspect it carefully. 3PO and R2 look over the control panel. R2 finds something that makes him whistle wildly.
Again, he should be able to interpret the entire Imperial computer network.
R2 punches his claw arm into the computer socket, and the vast Imperial brain network comes to life, feeding information to the little robot. After a few moments, he beeps something.
He says he found the main computer power to the tractor beam and they're holding the ship here. He'll try to make it... Oh my god. He'll try to make the precise location appear on the monitor.
The computer monitor flashes readouts.
The tractor beam is coupled to the main reactor in 7 locations. A power loss at one of the terminals will allow the ship to leave.
Ben studies the data on the monitor readout.
I don't think you boys can help. I must go alone.
Whatever you say. I've done more than I bargained for already. On this trip already.
I want to go with you.
Be patient, Luke. Stay and watch over the droids.
But he can...
They must be delivered safely, or the other star systems will suffer the same fate as Alderaan. Your destiny lies along a different path than mine. The Force will be with you, always.
Ben adjusts the lightsaber on his belt and silently steps out of the command office, then disappears down a long gray hallway. Chewbacca barks. A comment, and Han shakes his head in agreement.
Boy, you said it, Chewie.
Han looks at Luke.
Where'd you dig up that old fossil?
Ben is a great man.
Yeah, great at getting us into trouble.
I didn't hear you giving us any ideas.
Well, anything would be better than just hanging around and waiting for him to pick us up.
Well, who do you think?
Suddenly, R2 begins to whistle and beep a blue streak. Luke goes over to him.
What is it?
I'm afraid I'm not quite sure, sir. He says, I found her, and keeps repeating, she's here.
Well, who? Who has he found?
R2 whistles a frantic reply.
Princess Leia.
The princess? She's here?
Princess? What's going on?
Level 5, Detention Block A, A23. I'm afraid she's scheduled to be terminated.
Oh no, we gotta do something.
What are you talking about?
The droid belongs to her. She's the one in the message. We gotta help her.
Now look, don't go getting any funny ideas. The old man wants us to wait right here.
But he didn't know she was here. Look, will you find a way to get will you just find a way back into the detention block?
I'm not going anywhere.
They're going to execute her. Look, a few minutes ago you didn't want to just wait here and be captured. Now all you want to do is stay?
Marching into the detention area is not what I had in mind.
But they're gonna kill her.
Better her than me.
She's rich.
Chewbacca growls.
Rich.
Yes, rich, powerful. Listen, if you were to rescue her, the reward would be,
What?
well, more wealth than you can imagine.
I don't know. I can imagine quite a bit.
You'll get it.
I better.
You will.
All right, kid. But you better be right about this.
Han looks at Chewie, who grunts a short grunt.
That was like more Tim Allen.
Exactly.
All right.
What's your plan?
3PO, hand me those binders there, will ya?
Luke moves toward Chewbacca with electronic cuffs.
Okay, now I'm just gonna put these on you.
Chewie lets out a hideous growl.
Okay, Han, you put them on him. I lost my spot, but yeah. Han,
So
put
did I,
these on.
actually. You're right. You put these on. Luke sheepishly hands the binders to Han.
Don't worry, Chewie. I think I know what he has in mind.
The Wookiee has a worried and frightened look on his face as Han binds him with the electronic cuffs.
Master Luke, sir, pardon me for asking, but what should R2 do if we get discovered here?
Lock the door.
And hope they don't have blasters.
That isn't very reassuring.
Luke and Han put on their armored stormtrooper helmets and start off into the giant Imperial Death Star. Interior shard.
Yeah,
Oh,
let's
Oh, that's
take a break.
107. Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah, let's just take like a
Good.
5-minute break.
Here we go, guys. Page 80, scene 107. Take a big swig. Internal shot, or interior. God, I always get that wrong. Right off the bat, my first word's already messed up.
Just go with internal. We're fine.
Yeah, that's fine. Interior shot, Death Star, detention area, elevator tube. Han and Luke try to look inconspicuous in their armored suits as they wait for a vacuum elevator to arrive. Troops, bureaucrats, and robots bustle about, ignoring the trio completely. Only a few give a giant Wookiee a curious glance. Finally, a small elevator arrives and the trio enters.
You can't see a thing in this helmet.
A bureaucrat. Exactly. Oh, wait. My microphone broke. There we go. A bureaucrat races to get aboard also, but is signaled away by Han. The door to the pod-like vehicle slides closed, and the elevator car takes to the vacuum tube. Interior shot, Death Star main hallway. Several Imperial officers walk through the wide main passageway. They pass several stormtroopers and a robot similar to 3PO, but with an insect face. At the far end of the hallway, a passing flash of Ben Kenobi appears, then disappears down the small hallway. His appearance is so fleeting that it's hard not to tell if he's real or just an illusion. No one in the hallway seems to notice him. Interior Death Star, interior elevator, detention. Luke and Han step forward to exit the elevator, but the door slides open behind them. The giant Wookiee and his two guards enter the old gray security station. Guards and laser gates are everywhere. Han whispers to Luke under his breath.
This is not gonna work.
Why didn't you say so before?
I did say so before.
Interior detention area. The elevator doors open. A tall, grim-looking officer approaches the trio. Danny.
Oi! Where are you taking this thing?
Chewie growls a bit at the remark, but Han nudges him to shut up. Prisoner. Oh, sorry.
Prisoner transfer from block 1138.
I wasn't notified. I'll have to clear it.
The officer goes back to the console and begins to punch in the information, where only 3 other troopers in the area. Luke and Han survey the situation, checking all of the alarms, laser gates, and camera eyes. Han unfastens one of the Chewbacca's electrical cuffs and shrugs to Luke. Suddenly, Chewbacca throws up his hands and lets out with one of his ear-piercing howls. He grabs Han's laser rifle.
Look out! He's loose!
He's gonna pull us all apart.
Go get him!
The startled guards are momentarily dumbfounded. Luke and Han have already pulled out their laser pistols and are blasting away at the terrifying Wookiee. Their barrage of laser fire misses Chewbacca but hits the camera eyes. Laser gate controls in the Imperial Guards. The officer is the last of the guards to fall under the laser fire just as he's about to push the alarm button. Han rushes to the comlink system, which is screeching questions about what's going on. He quickly checks the computer readout. This is my favorite part, by the way.
Which cell the princess of yours is in. Here it is, cell 2187. You go get her. I'll hold them here.
Luke races down one of the cell corridors. Han speaks into the comlink, the buzzing comlink.
Sounding official.
Yeah.
Situation normal.
What happened?
Had a slight weapons malfunction, but everything's perfectly all right now. We're fine. We're all fine here now. Thank you. How are you?
We're sending a squad up.
Negative. We've had a radiation leak here now. Give us a few minutes to lock it down. Large leak, very dangerous.
Who is this? What is your operating number?
Han blasts the comlink and it explodes.
Boring conversation anyway. Luke, we're gonna have company.
This is the best. Interior Death Star cell row. Luke stops in front of one of the cells and blasts the door away with a laser pistol. When the smoke clears, Luke sees the dazzling young Princess Senator. She has been sleeping and is now looking at him with an uncomprehending look on her face. Luke is stunned by her incredible beauty. Whoa.
Incest.
Spoilers, this doesn't age well. And stands staring with her with his mouth hanging open. Wow.
Hold your mouth.
Aren't you a little short to be a stormtrooper?
Luke takes off his helmet, coming out of it.
What? Oh, the uniform. Well, I'm Luke Skywalker. I'm here to rescue you.
You're who?
I'm here to rescue you. I've got your R2 unit. I'm here with Ben Kenobi.
Ben Kenobi's here. Where is he?
Come on.
I'm sorry. Can we stop for just a quick second? I gotta point this out because everybody was freaking out with the new Obi-Wan Kenobi series and how Leia never knew who Ben was by Obi-Wan or by Ben. And I was rewatching rewatching A New Hope the other day, and she knows him by both Ben and Obi-Wan. And I was just like, man, people are just picking the worst things.
Quite, yes.
That's a good point, yeah. She says Ben Kenobi.
Ben? Yeah. Ben who? Thanks, McPickle. That was the highlight for me right there. Interior Death Star conference room. Darth Vader paces the room as Governor Tarkin sits at the far end of the conference table.
He is here.
Obi-Wan Kenobi? What makes you think so?
That was beautiful.
Tremor in the Force. The last time I felt it was in the presence of my old master.
Surely he must be dead by now.
Don't underestimate the power of the Force.
The Jedi are extinct. Their fire has gone out of the universe. You, my friend, are all that's left of their religion.
There's quite a buzz on the comlink.
Yes.
Oh, there is a quiet buzz on the comlink, yes.
Yes. Governor Tarkin, we have an emergency alert in the detention AA-23. The princess! Put all squad sections on alert!
Obi-Wan is here. The Force is with him.
Oh.
If you're right, he must not be allowed to escape.
Escape is not his plan. I must face him alone.
Interior Death Star detention area. An ominous buzzing sound is heard on the other side of the elevator door.
Chewie!
Chewie responds with a growling noise.
Get behind me! Get behind me!
A series of explosions knock a hole through the elevator door, through which several Imperial troops begin to emerge. Han and Chewie fire laser pistols at them, though the smoke and flame. They turn and run down the cell hallway, meeting up with Luke and Leia rushing towards them.
Can't get out that way!
Looks like you managed to cut off our only escape route.
Maybe you'd like it back in your cell, Your Highness.
Luke takes a small comlink transmitter from his belt as they continue to exchange fire with stormtroopers making their way down the corridor.
C-3PO! C-3PO!
Yes, sir?
We've been cut off. Are there any other ways out of the cell bay? What was that? I didn't copy.
Interior Death Star main bay gantry control tower. 3PO paces the control center as little R2 beeps and whistles a blue streak. 3PO yells into the small comlink transmitter.
I said all systems have been alerted to your presence, sir. The main entrance seems to be the only way in or out. All other information on your level is restricted.
Someone begins banging on the door.
Open up in there.
Oh no!
Interior Death Star detention corridor. Luke and Leia crouch together in the alcove for protection as they continue to exchange fire with troops. Han and Chewbacca are barely able to keep the stormtroopers at bay at the far end of the hallway. The laser fire is very intense. The smoke fills the narrow cell corridor.
There isn't any way out.
I can't hold them off forever. Now what?
Leia?
No. This is some rescue. When you come in here, didn't you have a plan for getting out?
Ease the brain, sweetheart.
Luke manages to sheepish grin and shrugs his shoulders.
Well,
He's so cute.
I didn't.
The princess grabs Luke's gun and fires at a small grate in the wall next to Han, almost frying him. Whoa.
What the hell are you doing?
Somebody has to save our skins. Into the garbage chute, wise guy.
She jumps through the narrow opening as Han and Chewbacca look on in amazement. Chewbacca sniffs the garbage chute and says something.
Get in there, you big furry oaf. I don't care what you smell. Get in there. Don't worry about it.
Han gives him a kick and the Wookiee disappears into the tiny opening. Luke and Han continue firing as they work their way towards the opening.
Wonderful girl. Either I'm going to kill her or I'm beginning to like her. Get in here.
Luke ducks laser fire as he jumps into the darkness. Han fires off a couple of quick blasts, creating a smoky cover, then slides into the chute himself and is gone. Interior Death Star garbage room. Han tumbles into the large garbage room. Garbage? Yeah. Han tumbles into the large room filled with garbage and muck. Luke is already stumbling around looking for an exit. He finds a small hatchway and struggles to get it open. It won't budge.
Oh, the garbage chute was really a wonderful idea. What an incredible smell you've discovered. Let's get out of here. Get away from there.
No, wait!
Han draws his laser pistol and fires at the hatch. The laser bolt ricochets wildly around the small metal room. Everyone dives for cover in the garbage as the bolt explodes almost on top of them. Leia climbs out of the garbage with a rather grim look on his face.
Will you forget it? I already tried it. It's magnetically sealed.
Put that thing away. You're gonna get us all killed.
Absolutely, your worship. Look, I had everything under control until you let us down here. You know, it's not going to take them long to figure out what's happened to us.
It could be worse.
A loud, horrible, inhuman moan works its way up from the murky depths. Chewbacca lets out a terrified howl and begins to back away. Han and Luke stand fast with their laser pistols drawn. The Wookiee is cowering near one of the walls.
It's worse.
There's something alive in here.
That's your imagination.
Something just moved past my leg. Look, did you see that?
What?
Help!
Suddenly, Luke is yanked under the garbage.
Luke! Luke! Luke!
Solo tries to get to Luke. Luke surfaces with a gasp of air and thrashing of limbs. A membrane tentacle is wrapped around his throat.
Luke!
Leia extends a long pipe towards him.
Luke, grab a hold of this.
Blast it, will ya? My gun's jammed.
Where?
Anywhere! Oh!
Solo fires his gun downward. Luke is pulled back into the muck of the slimy tentacle.
Luke! Luke!
Suddenly the walls of the garbage receptacle shudder and move in a couple of inches. Then everything is deathly quiet. Han and Leia give each other a worried look as Chewbacca howls in the corner. With a rush of bubbles and muck, Luke suddenly bobs to the surface.
Grab him!
Luke seems to be released by the thing.
What happened?
I don't know. It just let go of me and disappeared.
I've got a very bad feeling about this.
Before anyone can say anything, the walls begin to rumble and edge towards the rebels.
No, the walls are moving.
Don't just stand there. Try and brace it with something.
They place poles and long metal beams between the closing walls, but they're simply snapped and bent by the giant Trashmaster rumbles on. The Trashmaster! The situation doesn't look too good.
Oh, wait a minute.
Luke pulls out his comlink.
3PO, come in, 3PO. This is my most quoted Star Wars line right here.
Yes.
Because usually I'm looking for my children. 3PO, where could he be?
Named your child 3PO?
Yeah.
Works for a boy or a girl.
Yeah,
Oh.
perfect. Interior Death Star main gantry command office. A soft buzzer with the muted voice of Luke calling out for C-3PO can be heard in 3PO's hand comlink, which is sitting on the deserted computer console. R2 and 3PO are nowhere in sight. Suddenly, there's a great explosion at the door of the control tower, and the control tower flies across the floor. 4 armed stormtroopers enter the chamber.
Take over. See? To him. Look there.
A trooper pushes a button and a supply cabinet door slides open. C-3PO and R2-D2 are inside. R2 follows his bronze companion into the office.
They're madmen. They're heading for the prison level. If you hurry, you might catch them.
Follow me. You stand guard.
The troop hustles off down the down the hallway, leaving a guard to watch over the command office.
Come on.
The guard aims a blaster at them.
Oh, all of this excitement has overrun the circuits of my counterpart here. If you don't mind, I'd like to take him down to maintenance.
All right.
The guard nods and 3PO, with little R2 in tow, hurries out the door. Interior Death Star garbage room. As the walls rumble closed, the room gets smaller and smaller. Chewie is whining and trying to hold the wall back with his giant paws. Han is leaning back against the other wall. Garbage is snapping and popping. Luke is trying to reach 3PO.
3PO, come in, 3PO. 3PO.
Han and Leia try to brace the contracting walls with a pole. Leia begins to sink into the trash.
Get to the top!
I can't!
Where could it be? 3PO, 3PO, will you come in?
Interior Death Star main forward bay service panel.
They aren't here. Something must have happened to them. See if they've been captured.
Little R2 carefully plugs his claw arm into a new wall socket, and the complex array of electronic sounds spew from the tiny bot.
Okay, I was gonna say, this next paragraph is far more terrifying than anything that was ever in the movie.
Here we go. Oh, from the tiny robot, 3PO.
You.
What? Oh, hurry!
Oh, sorry, I missed that. There was 2
Oh yeah, sorry.
I
Interior
passed
Death
that
Star
too.
garbage room. The walls are only feet apart. Leia and Han are braced against the walls. The princess is frightened. They look at each other. Leia reaches out and takes Han's hand, and she holds it tightly. She's terrified and suddenly groans as she feels the first crushing pressure against her body.
One thing's for sure, we're all gonna be a lot thinner. Get on top of it!
I'm trying.
Death Star main forward bay service panel.
Thank goodness they haven't. Oh, sorry.
Sorry, you're right. To R2. Yep.
Thank goodness they haven't found them. Where could they be?
R2 frantically beeps something to C-3PO.
Use the comm link? Oh my, I forgot I turned it off.
Garbage room. Meanwhile, Luke is laying on his side, trying to keep his head above the rising ooze. Luke's comlink begins to buzz as he rips it off his belt. Main service forward bay. Muffled sounds of Luke's voiceover in the comlink can be heard, but not distinctly.
Are you there, sir?
Garbage room.
3PO.
Main forward bay.
We've had some problems.
Will you shut up and listen to me? Shut down all garbage masters on the detention level, will ya? Do you copy?
Garbage room.
Shut down all the garbage masters on the detention level.
Main forward bay.
Shut down all garbage masters on the detention level.
No! Shut them all down! Hurry!
3PO holds his head in agony as he hears the incredible screaming and hollering from Luke's comlink.
Listen to them! They're dying, R2!
My
Where's my
foot!
metal
Oh,
body? I
no!
wasn't fast enough. This is all my fault, my poor
Sprained my ankle. Luke, yeah. Oh, wait.
3PO, we're all right.
There you go. Garbage room. The screaming and hollering is the sound of joyous relief. The walls have stopped moving. Han, Chewie, and Leia embrace in the background.
We're all right. You did great.
Luke moves to the pressure-sensitive hatch, looking for a number.
Hey, open the pressure maintenance hatch on the unit number. Where are we?
Death Star, main forward bay, service panel.
326-827.
No misunderstandings through that communication at all. Well done. Interior Death Star tractor beam, power generator trench. Ben enters a humming service trench that powers the huge tractor beam. The trench seems to be 100 miles deep. The clacking sound of huge switching devices can be heard. The old Jedi edges his way along the narrow ledge leading to the control panel that connects two large cables. He carefully makes several adjustments in the computer terminal, and several lights on the board go from red to blue. Death Star unused hallway. The group exits the garbage room into a dusty, unused hallway. Han and Luke remove the trooper suits and strap on the blaster belts.
If we can just avoid any more female advice, we ought to be able to get out of here.
I don't feel like that was in the movie.
That line wasn't.
No, I don't think so. Luke smiles and scratches his head as he takes a blaster from Solo.
Well, let's get moving.
Chewie begins growling and points to the hatch in the garbage room as he runs away and then stops howling.
Where are you going?
The Dianogo bangs against the hatch for a long, slimy tentacle. Oh, and a long, slimy tentacle works its way out of the doorway.
That's the name of the thing in the garbage compactor.
Wow.
Or you know.
We didn't see that in the movie, I don't think.
We
just
saw
shoots.
We saw him look back, but we didn't see a tentacle.
That's right.
Oh, wow.
The Dianogo bangs against the hatch with a long, slimy tentacle, works its way out of the doorway, searching for a victim. Han aims his pistol.
No, wait, they'll hear.
Han fires at the doorway. The noise of the blast echoes relentlessly through the empty passageway. Luke simply shakes his head in disgust.
Come here, you big coward.
Chewie shakes his head no.
Chewie, come here.
Listen, I don't know who you are or where you came from, but from now on, you do as I tell you, okay?
Han is stunned at the command of this petite young girl.
Look, your worshipfulness. Let's get one thing straight. I take orders from one person. Me.
It's a wonder you're still alive. Will somebody get this walking carpet out of my way?
Han watches her start away. He looks at Luke.
No reward is worth this.
They follow her, moving swiftly down the deserted corridor. Interior shot. Death Star power trench. Suddenly a door behind Ben slides open and a detachment of stormtroopers marches to the power trench. Ben instantly slips into the shadows as an officer moves to within a few feet of him.
Secure the area until this alert is canceled. Give me regular reports.
All but two of the stormtroopers leave.
Do you know what's going on? Maybe it's another drill.
Ben moves around the tractor beam, watching the stormtroopers as they turn their backs on him. Ben gestures with his hand towards them as the troops think they hear something on the other side of the hallway. With the help of the Force, Ben deftly slips past the troopers and into the main hallway.
What was that? Oh, it's nothing. Don't worry about it.
Death Star hallway. Luke, Han, Chewbacca, and Leia run down the empty hallway and stop before the bay window overlooking the pirate ship. Troopers are milling about the ship. Luke takes out his pocket comlink.
Sorry. There she is.
C3PO, do you copy?
For the moment, we're in the main hangar, across from the ship.
We're right above you. Stand by.
Han is watching the dozen or so troops move in and out of the pirate ship. Leia moves towards Han, touches his arm, and points out the window to the ship.
You came in that thing? You're braver than I thought.
Nice. Come on.
Terrible. Your car's a piece of crap, by the way. Thanks for picking me up.
Adam Sandler song about that.
Yeah.
Brutal. Han gives her a dirty look, and they start off down the highway. They round a corner and run right into 20 Imperial stormtroopers, which in the new version is hundreds, heading towards them. Both groups are taken by surprise and stop in their tracks.
It's them! Blast them!
Before even thinking, Han draws his laser pistol and charges the troops, firing his blaster.
Jenkins!
He'll hire one of the stormtroopers into the air. Chewie follows his captain down the corridor, stepping over the fallen trooper on the floor.
Get back to the ship!
Where are you going? Come back!
Han has already rounded a corner and does not hear.
He certainly has courage.
What good will it do if he gets himself killed? Come on!
Luke is furious but doesn't have time to think about it, for muted alarms begin to go off down the hangar deck. Luke and Leia start off towards the starship hangar sub-hallway. Han chases the stormtroopers down the long sub-hallway. He is yelling and brandishing his laser pistol. The troops reach the dead end and are forced to turn and fight. Han stops a few feet from them and assumes a defensive position. The troops begin to raise their laser guns. Soon, all 10 troopers are moving into the attack position in front of the lone star pirate. His determined look begins to fade as the troops begin to advance. Solo jumps backward as they fire on him. Sub-hallway. Chewbacca runs down the sub-hallway in the last-ditch attempt to save his bold captain. Suddenly, he hears the firing of laser guns and running. Around the corner, shoots Han, pirate extraordinaire, running for his life, followed by a host of furious stormtroopers. Chewbacca turns and starts running the other way also.
These descriptors are amazing.
Luke fires his laser pistol wildly as he and Leia rush down the narrow sub-hallway, chased by several stormtroopers. They quickly reach the end of the sub-hallway and race through the open hatchway. Luke and Leia race through the hatch into a narrow bridge that spans a huge, deep shaft that seems to go into infinity. The bridge has been retracted into the wall of the shaft, and Luke almost rushes into the abyss. He loses his balance off the end of the bridge as Leia, behind him, takes hold of his arm and pulls him back.
Oh, I think we took a wrong turn.
Blasts from the stormtroopers' laser guns explode nearby, reminding them of the oncoming danger. Luke fires back at the advancing troops. Leia reaches over and hits the switch that pops the hatch door down with a resounding boom, leaving them precariously perched on a short piece of the bridge overhang. Laser fire from the troopers continues to hit the steel door.
There's no lock.
Luke blasts the controls with his laser pistol.
That ought to hold it for a while.
Quick, we gotta get across. Find the control that extends the bridge.
Oh, I think I just blasted it.
Luke looks on the blasted bridge control while the stormtroopers on the opposite side of the door begin making ominous drilling and pounding sounds.
They're coming through.
Luke notices something on his stormtrooper belt. When laser fire hits the wall behind him, Luke aims his laser pistol at the stormtrooper perched on a high bridge overhang across the abyss from them. They exchange fire. 2 more troops appear on the other overhang, also firing. The trooper is hit and grabs at his chest. Another trooper standing on the bridge overhang is hit by Luke's laser fire and plummets down the shaft. Troopers move back off the bridge. Luke hands his gun to Leia.
Hold this.
Luke pulls a thin nylon cable from his trooper utility belt and has a grappler on the hook of it. A trooper appears on the bridge overhang and fires at Luke and Leia. As Luke works with the rope, Leia returns the laser volley. Another trooper appears and fires at them. As Leia returns his fire as well, suddenly the hatch doors begin to open, revealing the feet of more troops.
Here they come.
Oh no, feet!
Exactly. Leia hits one of the stormtroopers on the bridge above, and he falls into the abyss. Luke tosses the rope across of the gorge and wraps it around himself in an outcropping of pipes. He tugs on the rope and makes sure it's secure, then grabs the princess in his arms. Leia looks at Luke, then kisses him quickly on the lips.
Oh God, was it a cheek kiss in the movie?
Luke
Cheek
is
kiss.
very, very surprised.
Rock.
Luke pushes off and they swing across the treacherous abyss to the corresponding hatchway on the opposite side. Just as Luke and Leia reach the far side of the canyon, the stormtroopers break through the hatch and begin to fire at the escaping duo. Luke returns the fire before ducking into the tiny sub-hallway. In the narrow passageway, Ben hides in the shadows of the narrow passageway as several stormtroopers rush past him. In the main hallway, he checks to make sure that they're gone, then runs down the hallway in the opposite direction. Darth Vader appears at the far end of the hallway and starts after the old Jedi. Main forward bay. 3PO looks around at the troops milling about the pirate ship entry ramp.
Oh, where could they be?
R2, plugged into the computer socket, turns his dome left and right, beeping in response. Corridor, blast shields door. Han and Chewbacca run down a long corridor with several troopers hot on their tail.
Close the blast doors.
At the end of the hallway, blast doors begin to close in front of them. The young star pilot and his furry companion race past the huge doors just as they're closing and manage to get off a couple laser blasts in the pursuing troops before the doors slam shut. You've captured their stunt doubles!
Oh, shit. Open the blast doors. Open the blast doors.
Hallway leading to the main forward bay. Ben hurries along one of the tunnels leading to the hangar where the pirate ship awaits. Just before he reaches the hangar, Darth Vader steps into the view at the end of the tunnel, not 10 feet away. Vader lights his saber. Ben also ignites and steps forward. Vader. Vader.
Oh, sorry. I was waiting for. I was looking at the wrong spot. I've been waiting for you, Obi-Wan. We meet again. At last. The circle is now complete.
Ben Kenobi moves with elegant ease into the classical offensive position. The fearsome Dark Knight takes a defensive stance.
What?
Yep.
When I left you, I was but the learner. Now, I am the master.
Only the master of evil, Darth.
The two galactic warriors stand perfectly still for a few moments, sizing each other up and waiting for the right moment. Ben seems to be under increasing pressure and strain, as if an invisible weight were being placed upon him. He shakes his head and, blinking, tries to clear his eyes. Ben makes a sudden lunge at the huge warrior, but is checked by a lightning movement of the Sith. The masterful slash stroke of Vader is blocked by the old Jedi. Another of the Jedi's blows is blocked, then countered. Ben moves around the Dark Lord and starts backing into the massive starship hangar. The two powerful warriors stand motionless for a few moments with the laser swords locked in midair, creating a low buzzing sound.
Your powers are weak, old man.
You can't win, Darth. If you strike me down, I shall become more powerful than you can possibly imagine.
Their lightsabers continue to meet in combat. Main forward bay. Han Solo and Chewbacca, their weapons in hand, lean back against the wall, surveying the forward bay, watching the Imperial stormtroopers make their rounds of the hangar.
Didn't we just leave this party?
Chewbacca growls a reply as Luke and Princess join them.
What kept you?
We ran into some old friends.
Is the ship all right?
Seems okay. If we can get to it. Just hope the old man got the tractor beam out of commission.
Hallway. Vader and Ben Kenobi continue their powerful duel as they hit their lightsabers together. Lightning flashes on impact. Troopers look on in interest as the old Jedi and Dark Lord of the Sith fight. Suddenly, Luke spots the battle from his group's vantage point.
Look!
Luke spots the battle from his vantage point.
Look!
Is that me?
I don't know.
Is somebody sharing their screen?
Someone's stream is making noise.
Oh, somebody's sharing the stream. It's all good.
It's cool. It's cool. Keep going.
Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie look up to see Ben. It was obviously Danny that did that. Luke, Leia, Han, and Chewie look up from Ben and Vader emerging from the hallways in the far side of the docking bay. 3PO and R2-D2 are in the center of the Death Star's Imperial docking bay.
Aye, come on, R2, we're going.
3PO ducks out of sight as the 7 stormtroopers who were guarding the starship rush past them, heading towards Ben and the Sith Knight. He pulls on R2. Hallway. Solo, Chewie, Luke, and Leia tensely watch the duel. The troops rush towards the battling knights.
Now's our chance. Go!
They start towards the Millennium Falcon. Ben sees the troops charging towards him and realizes that he's trapped. Vader takes advantage of Ben's momentary distraction and brings his mighty lightsaber down on the old man. Ben manages to deflect the blow and swiftly turns around. The old Jedi Knight looks over his shoulder at Luke, lifts his sword from Vader's, and then watches his opponent with a serene look on his face. Vader brings his sword down, cutting old Ben in half. Ben's cloak falls to the floor, the cloak not cut for some weird reason, but he's not there. Two-part. It actually says the cloak falls to the floor in 2 parts.
The cloak falls in 2 pieces.
That's really funny because in the movie it's totally not.
But Ben is not.
But Ben is not in it. Vader is puzzled at Ben's disappearance and pokes at the empty cloak. As the guards are distracted, the adventurers and the robots reach the starship. Luke sees Ben cut in 2 and starts for him. Aghast, he yells out,
No!
The stormtroopers turn towards Luke and begin firing at him. The robots are already moving up the ramp into the Millennium Falcon, while Luke, transfixed by anger and awe, returns their fire. Solo joins the laser fire. Vader looks up and advances towards them, and one of the troopers is struck down.
Come on!
Come on, Luke, it's too late!
Blast the door, kid!
Luke fires his pistol at the door control panel and it explodes. The door begins to slide shut. 3 troopers charge towards, firing laser bolts, and as the door slides to the close behind them, shutting Vader and the other troops out of the docking bay. The stormtrooper lies dead at the feet of the docking bay. The stormtrooper lies dead at the feet of his onrushing compatriots. Luke starts for the advancing troops. As Solo and Leia move up the ramp into the pirate ship, he fires, hitting a stormtrooper who crumbles to the floor.
Run, Luke, run!
Luke looks around to see where the voice came from. He turns towards the pirate ship, ducking Imperial gunfire from the troopers, and races towards the ship. Millennium Falcon cockpit. Han pulls back on the controls of the ship and begins to move. The dull thud of laser bolts bouncing off the outside of the ship as Chewie adjusts his controls.
I hope the old man got that tractor beam out of commission, or this is going to be a real short trip. All right, hit it!
Chewbacca growls in agreement. The Millennium Falcon powers away from the Death Star docking bay, making a spectacular turn, and disappears into the vastness of space. Can we take a little breather here for a quick second?
Yeah, you've been doing a lot.
I'm in focus mode. This is it. Narrator is going double pace. This is gonna be amazing.
Because you've got like 3 pages of like boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
boom.
you guys just
You can do it.
clap when I'm done. Here we go.
Okay.
Oh my god, I love this. I'm loving this a lot, by the way. I'm loving this so much. Pulls back control, ships begin to move, saddened loss. Oh, there we go.
Luke looks down sadly.
Where are we? Sorry, what?
No, Luke, Leia's about to put a blanket around his shoulder. 148?
148,
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Is everybody ready? Hi everybody in chat, by the way.
Yes. Hello.
Luke, saddened by the loss of Obi-Wan Kenobi, stares off blankly as the robots look on. Leia puts on a blanket around him protectively, and Luke turns to look up at her. She sits down beside him. Cockpit. Solo spots approaching enemy ships.
We're coming up on the sentry ships. Hold them off. Angle the deflector shields while I charge up the main guns.
Luke looks downward sadly, shaking his head back and forth as the princess smiles comfortingly at him.
I can't believe he's gone.
R2-D2 beeps a reply. Oh, nice.
Beautiful.
There wasn't anything you could have done.
Han rushes into the hold area where Luke is sitting with the princess.
Come on, buddy. We're not out of this yet.
Cockpit. Solo gunports. Cockpit. Solo climbs into his attack position in the topside gunport. Luke gets up and moves towards the gunport as Leia heads for the cockpit. Luke climbs down the ladder into the gunport cockpit, settling into one of the two main laser cannons mounted in the large rotating turrets in either side of the ship. Han adjusts his headset as he sits before the controls of his laser cannon, then speaks into the attached microphone.
You in, kid? Okay, stay sharp.
Don't get penisy. Millennium Falcon.
I was doing my best not to say it.
No, I had to do it. I'm sorry. Chewbacca and Princess Leia search the heavens for attacking TIE fighters. The Wookiee pull back on the speed controls as the ship bounces slightly. Computer holographic readouts form on Solo's target screen as Han reaches for controls. Luke sits in readiness for the attack. His hand is on the laser cannon control button. Chewbacca spots the enemy ships and barks.
Here they come.
The Imperial TIE fighters move toward the Millennium Falcon, one each veering off to the left and right of the pirate ship. The stars whip past behind the Imperial pilot as he adjusts his maneuvering joystick. The TIE fighter races past the Falcon, firing laser beams as it passes. 3PO is seated in the hold area next to R2-D2. The pirate ship bounces and vibrates as the power goes off in the room, out in the room, and then then comes back on. The TIE fighter maneuvers in front of Han, who follows it and fires it with the laser cannon. Luke does likewise. As the TIE fighter streaks into view, the ship has suffered a minor hit but bounces slightly. Two TIE fighters dive down towards the pirate ship. Luke fires at an unseen fighter.
They're coming in too fast.
Pan with pirate ship as two TIE fighters charge through the background. Laser bolts streak from all the craft. The ship shudders as a laser bolt hits very close to the cockpit. The Wookiee chatters something to Leia. Full shot of the TIE fighter as it moves fast through the frame, firing on the pirate ship. The two TIE fighters fire a barrage of laser beams at the pirate ship. A laser bolt streaks into the side of the pirate ship. The ship lurches violently, throwing poor 3PO into a cabinet full of small computer chips.
Oh!
Leia watches the computer readout as Chewbacca manipulates the ship's controls.
We've lost lateral controls.
Don't worry, she'll hold together.
An enemy laser bolt hits the pirate ship's control panel, causing it to blow out in a shower of sparks.
You hear me, baby? Hold together.
R2-D2 advances towards the sparking control panel, dousing the Inferno by spraying it with fire retardant, beeping all the while. Luke swivels in his gun mount, following the TIE fighter with his laser cannon. Solo aims his laser cannon at the enemy fighter. The TIE fighter streaks in front of the starship. Leia watches the TIE fighter ship fly over. The TIE fighter heads right for the pirate ship, then zooms overhead. Luke follows the TIE fighter across the field of view, firing laser beams from his cannon. The TIE fighter dives past the pirate ship. Luke fires at the TIE fighter. At this point, Han follows the fighter in his sights, releasing a blast of laser fire. He connects and the fighter explodes. Han laughs victoriously. Two TIE fighters move towards and over Millennium Falcon, unleashing a barrage of laser bolts at the ship. Another TIE fighter moves in on the pirate ship, and Luke, smiling, fires a laser cannon at it, scoring a spectacular direct hit.
I got him!
Han turns and gives Luke a victory wave, which Luke gleefully returns.
Great, kid. Don't get cocky.
Good job. Two more TIE fighters cross in front of the pirate ship. While Chewbacca manipulates the controls, Leia turns, looks over the shoulder out the ports. Oh, Leia.
Oh, what? Where is it? Oh, there. There are still two more of them out there.
The TIE fighter moves up over the pirate ship, firing laser blasts at it. Luke and Han look at their respective projected target screens. An Imperial fighter crosses Solo's port, and Han swivels in his chair, following it as it blasts from a laser cannon. Another fighter crosses Luke's port, and he reacts in a like manner, the glow of his target screen lighting his face. The TIE fighter zooms toward the pirate ship, firing destructive blasts at it. Luke fires a laser blast at the approaching enemy fighter, and it bursts into a spectacular explosion. Luke's projected screen gives a readout of the hit. The pirate ship bounces slightly as it's struck by the enemy fire. The last of the attacking Imperial TIE fighters looms in, firing upon the Falcon. Solo swivels behind his cannon. His aim describing the... Oh my goodness, these are big words. So, his aim describing the arc of the TIE fighter. The fighter comes closer, firing at the pirate ship, but a well-aimed blast from Solo's laser cannon hits the attacker, which blows up in a small atomic shower of burning fragments.
That's it! We did it!
The princess jumps up and gives Chewie a congratulatory hug.
We did it!
3PO lies on the floor of the ship, completely tangled in the smoking, sparking wires.
Help, I think I'm melting. This is all your fault.
R2 turns his dome from side to side, beeping in response. The victorious Millennium Falcon moves off majestically through space. Whew. Whew. Good run, guys. That's great.
Yeah.
Nice. Okay. 192.
I'm proud of us.
Oh, this is great. Death Star control room. Darth Vader strides into the control room where Tarkin is watching the huge view.
He has to stride. He has a cloak and it billows.
Are they away?
They have just made the jump into hyperspace.
And you're sure the homing beacon is secure aboard our ship? I'm taking an awful risk, Vader. This had better work.
Millennium Falcon. Han removes his gloves and smiling. It's at the controls of the ship. Chewie moves into the aft section to check on the damage. Leia is seated near Han.
Not a bad bit of rescuing, huh? You know, sometimes I even amaze myself.
That doesn't sound too hard. Besides, they let us go. It's the only explanation for the ease of our escape.
Oh.
Easy? You call that easy?
They're tracking us.
Not this ship, sister.
Frustrated Leia shakes her head.
At least the information in R2 is still intact.
What's so important? What's he carrying?
The technical readouts of that battle station. I only hope that when the data is analyzed, a weakness can be found. It's not over yet.
It is for me, sister. Look, I ain't in this for your revolution, and I'm not in it for you, princess. I expect to be well paid, and I'm in it for the money.
Oh, you needn't worry about your reward. If money is all you love, then that's what you'll receive.
She angrily turns, and she starts out of the cockpit, passes Luke coming in.
Your friend is quite a mercenary. I wonder if all he really cares about, or if he really cares about anything, or anyone.
I care.
Such a weird line. I care.
A thirsty
Friend zone.
Yeah, exactly.
Please, man.
Hi. Luke, shaking his head, sits in the co-pilot seat. He and Han stare out into the vast blackness of space.
So, what do you think of her, Han?
I'm trying not to, kid.
Good.
I ship
Still,
it.
she's got a lot of spirit. I don't know. What do you think? Do you think a princess and a guy like me?
No.
Luke says it with finality and looks away. Han smiles at young Luke's jealousy. Space around the fourth moon of Yavin.
Oh,
The battered pirate ship drifts into orbit around the planet Yavin and proceeds to one of its tiny green moons. The pirate ship soars over the dense jungle. An alert guard, his laser gun in hand, scans the countryside. Pew, 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 and sets the gun down and looks towards the temple, barely visible in the foliage. Jungle temple. Rotting in the forest of gargantuan trees, An ancient temple lies shrouded in eerie mist. The air is heavy with the fantastic cries of unimaginable creatures. Han, Luke, and the others are greeted by the rebel troops. Luke and the group ride into a massive temple on an armored military speeder main hangar deck. The military speeder stops in a huge spaceship hangar set up in the interior of the crumbling temple. Willard, the commander of the rebel forces, rushes up to the group and gives Leia a big hug. Everyone's pleased to see her.
Ooh-wee, you're safe. We had feared the worst.
Willard composes himself, steps back, and bows formally.
When we heard about Alderaan, we were afraid that you were lost along with your father.
We don't have time for our sorrows, Commander. The battle station has surely tracked us here. It's the only explanation for the ease of our escape. You must use the information in this R2 unit to plan the attack. It's our only hope.
Only hope. External space. The surface of Death Star ominously approaches the red planet Yavin. Control room.
Can I ask a quick question?
Please.
We never see the Death Star actually enter hyperspace. How does something that big move that quickly?
We don't talk about science right now. We don't talk about science. This is science fiction, not science fact.
That's right.
Science rules.
Yeah, we don't question it like Bruno. We just
You want
we don't
science
talk
to
about
go
it.
to Star Trek.
Yeah. Death Star control room. Grand Moff Tarkin and Lord Vader are interrupted in their discussion by the buzz of the comlink. Tarkin moves to answer the call.
Yes?
No. Death Star intercom voice. We are
approaching the
okay.
private Yavin. The rebel base is on the moon on the far side. We are preparing to orbit the planet.
Yavin jungle. A lone guard stands in the tower high above Yavin landscape, surveying the countryside. A mist hangs over the jungle of twisted green. War room briefing area. Dodonna stands before a large electronic wall display. Leia and several other senators are all one side of the giant readout. The low-ceilinged room is filled with star pilots, navigators, and sprinkling of R2-type robots. Everyone's listening intently to what Dodonna is saying. Han and Chewbacca are standing near the back.
Well, you see, this battle station is heavily shielded and carries a firepower greater than half the Starfleet. Its defenses are designed around a distinct large scale assault. A small 1-5 Vader should be able to penetrate this outer defense.
Dodonna's the worst leader. Everybody is in the Zoom meeting in chat going, I don't know what the hell that she just said. Yeah. Dodonna stands before... Oh, I did that. Gold leader, a rough-looking man in his early 30s, stands and addresses Dodonna.
Give me like a MacGyver vibe.
For asking, sir. But what good a snub fighter is going to be up against that?
Well, the Emperor doesn't consider a small one-man fire to be any threat, or they'd have more tighter defense.
Well, an analysis of the plans by Principal
That's still Dodonna.
An analysis of the plans provided by Princess Leia has demonstrated
right.
a weakness in this battle station.
Good name drop.
Leia, that's well done. That's great. R2-D2 stands next to the similar robot, making beeping sounds, and turns his head from left to right.
The approach will not be easy. You are required to maneuver straight down this trench and skim the surface to this point. The target area is only 2 meters wide. It's a small thermal exhaust port right below the main port. The shaft leads directly to the reactor system. A precise hit will start a chain reaction which should destroy the station.
A murmur of disbelief runs through.
Gasp! Audible!
Yes.
Only a precise hit will set up a chain reaction. The shaft is ray shielded, so you'll have to use proton torpedoes.
Obviously. Luke is sitting next to Wedge Antilles, a hotshot pilot about 16 years old.
That's impossible! Even for a pilot!
It's not impossible. I used to bullseye womp rats in my T-16 back home. They're not much bigger than 2 meters.
Sociopath.
Quite.
Man your ships, and may the force be with you.
The group rises and begins to leave. Good job. 204. The Death Star begins to move around the planet towards the tiny green moon. Tarkin and Vader watch the computer projected screen with interest as a circle of lights intertwines around one another, on the screen showing its position in relation to Yavin and the fourth moon. Orbiting the planet at maximum velocity, the moon with the rebel base will be in range. Oh, sorry, that's your line. Death Star intercom voice. Go.
All flight troopers, man your stations. All flight troopers, man your stations.
Wait, where are you?
Yeah,
Oh,
You missed a spot.
Where are
It says
you?
Death Star intercover voice.
You're right.
Oh,
Orbiting the
206.
planet?
206.
Orbiting the planet at maximum velocity, the moon with the rebel base will be in range in 30 minutes.
This will be a day long remembered. It has seen the end of Kenobi, and it will soon see the end of the rebellion.
You take a breath in between every single one of those words. I love it.
That was good. Sell it.
Main hangar deck. Luke, 3PO, and little R2 enter the huge spaceship hangar.
As opposed to Big R2?
Yeah, little
Sorry.
big R2.
I'm getting tired of my outer voice.
Gleaming
Sorry.
space fighters. Flight
His
crews.
name is Big Blue.
That's fine. Flight crews rush around loading last-minute armaments and unlocking power couplings. In an area isolated from the activity, Luke finds Han and Chewbacca loading small boxes into an armored speeder.
All flight troopers, man your stations. All flight troopers, man your stations.
Han is deliberately ignoring the activity of the fighter pilot's preparation. Luke is quite saddened at the sight of his friend's departure.
Luke.
Oh,
Oh,
Luke.
you're muted, Curtis.
Oh, you're muted. There you go, bud.
Me. Sorry about that.
No, all good.
So you just got your reward and you're just leaving then?
That's right. Yeah. I got some old debts I got to pay off with this stuff. Even if I didn't, you don't think I'd be fool enough to stick around here, do you? Why don't you come with us? You're pretty good in a fight. I could use you.
Come on, why don't you take a look around? You know what's about to happen, what they're up against. They could use a good pilot like you. You're turning your back on them.
What good's a reward if you're not around to spend it? Besides, attacking that battle station ain't my idea of courage. It's more like suicide.
All right, well, take care of yourself, Han. I guess that's what you're best at, isn't it?
Luke goes off and Han hesitates, then calls to him.
Hey, Luke! May the Force be with you.
Luke turns and sees Han wink at him. Luke lifts his hand in a small wave and then goes off. Han turns to Chewie, who growls at his captain. Oh.
You look bad. I know what I'm doing.
Yeah, he's a businessman. That's what he's doing. He's not burning bridges. That's what he does. Luke's ship. Luke, Leia, and Dodonna meet under a huge space freighter. I don't remember that.
Fighter.
Oh, fighter. Sorry. Yeah, under a huge space fighter. Yeah.
What's wrong?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, it's Han. I don't know. I really thought he'd change his mind.
He's got to follow his own path. No one can choose it for him.
I only wish Ben were here.
Leia gives Luke a little kiss.
Stop kissing her!
Turns and goes off. As Luke heads for his ship, another pilot rushes up to him and grabs his arm. Biggs!
Luke! I don't believe it. How'd you get here? Are you going out with us?
Biggs! Well, of course. I'll be up there with you. Of course I'll be up there with you. Listen, I've got some stories to tell.
Red Leader, a rugged, handsome man in his 40s. What? Comes up behind Luke and Biggs. He has a confident smile of a born leader. This guy.
Are you Luke Skywalker?
Oh, thanks.
Have you ever checked out the Incom T65?
Sir, Luke is the best bush pilot in the Outer Rim territories.
Red Leader pats Luke on the back and they stop in front of his fighter.
I met your father once when I was just a boy. He's such a great pilot. You'll do all right. If you got half your father's skill, you'll do better than all right.
Oh,
What's the old man from Family Guy?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Thank you, sir. I'll try.
Red Leader hurries to his own ship. Also, Red Leader doesn't have a name. His name is just Red Leader.
Mom gotta get aboard. Listen, you
Like a
don't tell
red
me
shirt.
your stories when we come back, all right?
I told you I'd make it someday, Biggs.
You did all right. It's good that it's going to be like old times, Luke. We're a couple of shooting stars that'll never be stopped.
Luke laughs and shakes his head in agreement. He heads for his ship. As Luke begins to climb up the ladder into a sleek, deadly spacecraft, the crew chief, who is working on his craft, points to the little R2 who's been hoisted into the socket in the back of the fighter.
This R2 unit seems to have been a bit beat up. Do you want a new one?
Not on your life. That little droid and I have been through a lot together. You okay, R2?
The crewmen lower R2-D2 into the craft. Now a part of the exterior shell of the starship, the little droid beeps that he's fine. Luke climbs up into the cockpit of his fighter and puts on his helmet. 3PO looks on from the floor of his massive hangar as the crewmen secure the little electromagnetic partner into Luke's X-Wing. It's an emotional-filled moment as R2 beeps goodbye.
Okay, easy she goes.
Hang on tight, R2. You've got to come back.
R2 beeps in agreement.
You wouldn't want my life to get boring, would you?
R2 whistles his reply. All final preparations are made for the approaching battle. The hangar is buzzing with the last-minute activity as the pilots and the crewmen alike make their final adjustments. The hum of activity is occasionally trespassed by the distorted voice of the loudspeaker issuing commands, coupling hoses and disconnecting from the ships as they're fueled. Cockpit shields roll smoothly into place over each pilot. A signalman holding red guiding lights directs the ships. Luke, a trace of a smile gracing his lips, peers about through his goggles. Oh, Ben's voice. Why don't we all say
it's supposed to be like, Luke.
The Force will be with you.
The Force will be with you.
Luke is confused at the voice and taps his headphones. Back to the jungle. All that can be seen on the fortress is a lone guard standing on a small pedestal jutting out above the dense jungle. Oh, that's the pew-pew-pew guy. The muted, gruesome crying sounds that naturally permeate this eerie purgatory is overwhelmed by the thundering din of ion rockets and 4 silver starships catapulting from the foliage in a tight formation and disappearing into the morning cloud cover. War room. Princess 3PO and a field commander sit quietly before the Princess 3PO and a field commander sit quietly before the giant display showing the planet Yavin and its 4 moons. The red dot that represents the Death Star moves even closer to the system. A series of green dots appear around the 4th moon. A din of indistinct chatter fills the room. Intercom.
Stand by alert. Death Star approaching. Estimated time to firing range, 15 minutes.
By the way, how did anybody know it was called a Death Star? Did anybody use the term Death Star outside of the boardroom with everybody?
Oh, they have
And
to
it's
land.
on like the plans.
Says Leia
Yeah.
finally.
Oh,
You're
right.
Somebody just labeled it Death Star.
You're right. I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right.
No, let's be honest. I mean, when it comes to labeling plans, you never label it what it's actually named. So it's probably
Death
called
Moon.
Mr. Coffee.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Yes. There's code. I feel you on that. The Death Star slowly. Well, you know what? In Rogue One, they probably address it. Now that I think about it, but okay.
That's so good.
The Death Star slowly moves behind the massive yellow surface of Yavin in the foreground as many X-wing fighters flying in formation zoom toward us and out of frame. Light from a distant sun creates an eerie atmospheric glow around a huge planet, Yavin. Rebel fighters flying in formation settle ominously in the foreground and very slowly pull away. Red Leader lowers his visor and adjusts his gun sights, looking at each other at his wingman.
All wings, report in.
One of the Rebel fighters checks in through his mic.
Red 10 standing by.
Biggs' cockpit. Biggs checks his fighter controls, alert and ready for combat. Red 7.
Red 7 standing by.
Red 3 standing by.
Porkins.
Red 6 standing by.
Red 9.
Red 9 standing by.
Wedge's fighter.
Red 2 standing by.
Luke's X-Wing.
No, it's Red 11 is
You're
next.
gonna do Red 11.
But it does say
Oh, that's true. That would be Luke. That's Luke's
confusing.
line. Yeah.
And then
Luke is Red 5.
Oh, you're right. Red 11 standing by. Red 11 standing by, and then Luke says, "Go for it."
Red 5 standing by.
Luke's X-Wing fighter. R2-D2 in position outside of the fighter, turns his head from side to side and makes beeping sounds. He's ready, by the way.
Lock and spoils in attack position.
The group of X-Wing fighters move in formation towards the Death Star, unfolding the wings and locking them in the X position.
We're passing through their magnetic field. Hold tight.
Get that voice in my sleep.
Luke adjusts his controls as he concentrates on approaching Death Star. The ship begins to be buffeted slightly.
Switch your deflectors on. Double front.
The fighters, now X-shaped darts, move in formation. The Death Star now appears to be on the small moon, growing rapidly in size as the rebel fighters approach. Complex patterns on the metallic surface begin to become visible. A large dish antenna is built into the surface on one side. Wedge's cockpit. Wedge is amazed and slightly frightened at this awesome spectacle.
Oh boy, look at the size of that thing.
Red Leader.
Red 2.
Red Leader's cockpit.
Accelerate to attack speed. This is it, boys.
Boys! Boys! As the fighters move closer to the Death Star, the awesome size of the gargantuan Imperial fortress is revealed. Half of the deadly space station is in shadow, and this area sparkles within thousands of small lights running in thin lines and occasionally grouped in large clusters, somewhat like a city at night as seen from a weathery satellite.
Hey, Red Leader, this is Gold Leader.
I copy, Gold Leader.
We're starting for the target shaft now.
Red Leader's cockpit. Red Leader looks around at his wingman, the Death Star looming in from the background. Two Y-wing fighters bob back and forth in the background. He moves his computer targeting device into position.
We're in position. I'm gonna cut across the X's and try and draw their fire.
Did you say Christopher Walken? Yeah.
Did he just do Christopher Walken?
Two squads run, fighters peel off. The X-Wings dive towards the Death Star's surface. 1,000 lights grow across the dark sky expanse of the huge station.
That's incredible.
That was amazing.
I bow.
Internal and Death Star. Alarm sirens scream as soldiers scramble the large turbo-powered laser gun emplacements. Electronic drivers rotate the huge guns into position and crew adjust their targeting devices. Laser bolts streak through the starfilled night. The rebel X-Wing fighters move in towards the Imperial base as the Death Star aims its massive laser guns at the rebel forces and fires. War room. Princess Leia listens to the battle over the intercom. C-3PO is at her side.
Heavy fire, boss. 20 degrees. I see it. Stay low.
An X-Wing zooms across the surface of the Death Star. Technical crews scurry here, and they are loading last-minute armaments and unlocking power cables. Wedge maneuvers his fighter towards the menacing Death Star. X-Wings continue in their attack course on the Death Star. Luke nosedives radically, starting his attack on the monstrous fortress. The Death Star surface streaks past the cockpit window.
This is Red 5. I'm going in.
Luke's X-Wing races towards the Death Star. Laser bolts streak from Luke's weapons, creating a huge fireball explosion on the dim surface. Terror crosses Luke's face as he realizes he won't be able to pull out in time to avoid the fireball.
Luke, pull up!
Luke's ship emerges from the fireball with a leading edge of his wings slightly scorched.
Are you all right?
Luke adjusts his controls and breathes a sigh of release. Flak bursts outside of the cockpit window.
I got a little cooked, but I'm okay.
Rebel fighters continue to strafe the Death Star's surface with laser bolts. Walls buckled and caved in. Troops and equipment are blown in all directions. Stormtroopers staggered out of the rumble, standing in the middle of the chaos. A vision of calm and foreboding is Darth Vader. Darth Vader is Darth Vader. One of his Astro officers rushes up to him.
We count 30 rebel ships, Lord Vader, but they're so small they're evading our turbo lasers.
The lasers are stronger than the lasers.
Probably right. 247. Oh, you're muted, Vader.
Darth.
Darth Vader?
Lady
Great.
Vader, you're muted.
I don't
Agent
think
still-
she can hear us.
Oh no!
Yes.
Did we lose you?
Oh, she did switch her headsets.
Lady Vader.
We'll wait.
Where'd she go?
I don't know if she can hear us.
Oh, 1 second. She needs 1 second. A walk-in. It's the walk-in.
She's like, how does this movie end? I gotta Google it.
That's awesome. We're actually pretty close. This is
I was
how
gonna
many?
We got
We're on page 123 of 155.
Oh
in
my
half
god,
an
no to
hour,
that.
actually,
Okay.
in
Yeah.
15
This
minutes,
dogfight
we
is this whole sequence takes a very, very long time.
Yeah, you're right. Okay, we're gonna find a natural progression in the next 10
Sorry,
minutes.
guys. Sorry.
No, it's totally fine.
Oh, no
Give me
worries.
1 second. Also, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay,
Yep.
I can't hear you. That's the fun part. Is there a button I'm missing? Did I click a button?
Oh, in
My
your set.
earbuds died, so
in your
now I'm just
settings.
Like, right, I have to find the right button.
Go to settings.
for me to be able to hear you.
Oh, she can't hear me. Why am I
Can't hear
explaining? to her what to do? I'm like, all you have to do is, by
Give
the
me 1
way,
second. Just
let
Put it in
me
chat.
let me just explain it.
there
to
we
her.
go.
Yeah.
Oh, there. You
All right,
get it?
but now why can't I hear you again?
Oh, would you?
Oh. Really helps if I turn up the volume.
We'll type it
There you
here.
go. Now you can hear.
There you go.
That's a button.
Yeah?
What's
Yeah?
up?
You hear now?
Hello?
1 second, just.
See, no.
Nope.
Why can't I hear you?
Let's get
I broke it. I broke everything. Anyways, is it my line after the Astro officer?
Yes.
Oh, okay,
Yes.
okay. I don't have to hear you to know my line.
Oh
so go ahead.
no!
We'll have to destroy them ship to ship. Get the crews to their fighters.
I love that she's improvising here.
There you go.
Smoke
Now I'll fix
belches
my
from the giant laser guns as they wind up their turbine generators. I'm going to keep going. Yeah. To create sufficient power, the crew rushes about, preparing for another blast. Even the troopers' headgear is not adequate to protect them from the overwhelming noise of the monstrous weapon. One trooper bangs its helmet against his head with his hand in an attempt to stop the ringing. Red Leader flies through the heavy hail of flak.
Luke, let me know when you're going in.
The Red Leader's X-Wing flies past Luke and he puts his nose down and starts the attack dive.
I'm on my way in now.
Watch yourself. There's a lot of fire coming from the right side of that deflection tower.
I'm on it.
Luke flings his X-Wing into the twisting dive across the horizon and down into the dim gray surface. A shot hurls from Luke's guns. Laser bolts streak towards the onrushing Death Star surface. Several small radar emplacements erupt in flame. Laser fire erupts from the protruding tower of the surface. The blurry Death Star surface races past the cockpit window. In a big smile sweeps across Luke's face at the success of his run. Flak thunders on all sides of him. The Death Star superstructure races past Luke as he maneuvers his craft through the wall of the laser fire and peels away from the surface towards the heavens. The thunder and smoke of the big guns reverberate through the massive structure. Many soldiers rush about in the smoke of chaos, silhouetted by the almost continual flash of explosions. Biggs's cockpit. Biggs dives towards the forest of radar domes, antenna, and gun towers and shoots low across the Death Star surface. A dense barrage of laser fire streaks by on all sides. In the Death Star, Imperial Star pilots dash in unison to the line of small auxiliary hatches that lead to Imperial TIE fighters. War Room. Princess Leia, surrounded by her generals and aides, paces nervously before a lighted computer table. On all sides, technicians work in front of the many lighted glass walls. Donna watches quietly from one corner. One of the officers working over a screen speaks into his headset.
Squad leaders, we've picked up a new group of signals. Enemy fighters coming your way.
Luke looks back to Luke's cockpit. Luke looks around to see if he can spot the approaching Imperial fighters.
My scope's negative. I don't see anything.
The Death Star's surface sweeps past as Red Leader searches the sky for the Imperial fighters. Flak pounds at his ship.
Keep your visuals scanning. With all this jamming, they'll be on top of you before you can scope and pick it up.
Surface of the Death Star, silhouetted against the rim lights of the Death Star horizon, 4 ferocious Imperial TIE ships dive on the rebel fighters. 2 of the TIE fighters peel off and drop out of the frame. Pan with the remaining 2 TIE ships. Biggs' cockpit. Biggs panics when he discovers the TIE ship on his tail. The horizon of the background twists around as he peels off, hoping to lose the Imperial fighter.
Biggs! You've picked one up. Watch it.
I can't see it. Where is he?
Biggs zooms off the surface and into space, closely followed by an Imperial TIE fighter. The TIE ship fires several laser bolts at Biggs, but misses. Biggs sees the TIE ship behind him and swings around, trying to avoid him.
He's on me tight. I can't shake him.
Biggs, flying at high altitude, peels off and dives towards the Death Star surface, but he's unable to lose the TIE fighter, who sticks close to his tail. Luke is flying upside down. He rotates his ship around to normal attitude, and he comes out of his dive.
Hang on, Biggs. I'm coming in.
268, by the way.
Thank you.
Space around the Death Star. Biggs and the tailing TIE ship up for the surface, now followed by the fast-gaining Luke. After Biggs dives out of the sight, Luke chases the Imperial fighter. In the foreground, the Imperial fighter races across the Death Star's surface, closely followed by Luke in the background. There's a shot from Luke's X-wing of the TIE ship exploding in a mass of flames.
Got him!
Darth Vader strides purposefully down the Death Star corridor, flanked by Imperial stormtroopers.
Did I literally get this fixed right in time for a line?
You did, 271.
Several fighters have broken off from the main group. Come with me.
A concerned Princess Leia... Oh, in the war room. A concerned Princess Leia, 3PO, and Dodonna, and other officers of the rebellion stand around the huge round readout screen, listening to the ship-to-ship communication of the other on the room's loudspeaker.
Pull in, Luke! Pull in! Watch your back, Luke!
Luke's X-wing fighter cockpit.
Watch your back! Fighters above you coming in!
Luke's ship soars away from the Death Star's surface as he spots the tailing TIE fighter. The TIE pilot takes aim at Luke's X-wing. The Imperial TIE fighter pilot scores a hit on Luke's ship. Fire breaks out on the right side of the X-wing. Luke looks out of his cockpit at the flames on his ship.
I'm hit, but not bad.
Smoke pours out from behind R2-D2.
R2, see what you can do with it. Hang on back there.
Green laser fire moves past the beeping little robot as his head turns. Luke nervously works his controls.
Red 6!
War room. In the war room, Leia stands frozen as she listens and worries about Luke.
Can you see Red 5? There's heavy fire zone on this side. Red 5, where are you?
Luke spots a TIE fighter behind him and soars away from the Death Star surface.
I can't shake him.
Luke's ship soars closer to the surface of the Death Star, an Imperial TIE fighter closing in on him but in hot pursuit. The Death Star whips below Wedge.
I'm on him, Luke! Hold on!
When Wedge dives across the horizon towards Luke and the TIE fighter. Wedge moves his X-wing in rapidly. Luke reacts frantically.
Blast it, Wedge, where are you?
The fighter pilot watches Wedge's X-wing approach. Another X-wing joins him, and both unleash a volley of laser fire on the Imperial fighter. The TIE fighter explodes, filling the screen with white light. Luke's ship can be seen far in the distance. Luke looks about in relief.
Thanks, Wedge.
Back in the war room, Leia, 3PO, Dodonna, and other rebel officers are listening to the rebel fighters' radio transmissions over the war room intercom.
Good shooting, Wedge. Red Leader.
Gold Leader peels off and starts toward the long trenches at Death Star surface pole.
This is Gold Leader. We're starting our attack run.
3 Y-wing fighters of the Gold Group dive out of the stars towards the Death Star surface. Leia and others are grouped around the screen as technicians move about attending to their duties.
I copy, Gold Leader. Move into position.
The 3 Imperial TIE ships are in precise formation, dive towards the Death Star surface. Darth Vader calmly adjusts his control stick as the stars whip past in the window above his head.
Stay in attack formation.
Technicians are seated in the war room. Technicians are seated at the computer readout terminal.
The exhaust post is marked and locked in.
Gold Leader approaches the surface and pulls out to skim the surface of the huge station. The ship moves into the deep trench, firing laser bolts. The surface streaks past the laser fires returned by the Death Star. Gold 5 is a pilot in his early 50s with a very battered helmet and looks like he's been through many battles. He looks around to see if enemy ships are near. His fighter is buffeted by Imperial flak. Gold Leader races down the enormous trench and leads to the exhaust port. Laser bolts blast towards him in the increasing numbers, occasionally exploding near the ship, causing it to bounce about.
Switch power to front deflector screens.
3 Y-wings skim the Death Star surface deep in the trench as laser bolts streak past on all sides. An exterior surface gun blazes away at the oncoming rebel fighters.
How many guns do you think, Gold 5?
I'd say about 20 guns. Some on the surface, some on the towers.
Go the intercom voice.
Death Star will be in range in 5 minutes.
The 3 Y-wing fighters race towards camera and zoom overhead through the hail of laser fire. Gold Leader pulls his computer targeting device down in front of his eye. Laser bolts continue to batter the rebel craft.
Switching to targeting computer.
Gold 2, a young pilot about Luke's age, pulls down his targeting eye viewer and adjusts it. His ship shudders under intense laser barrage.
Computer's locked. Get a signal.
As the fighters begin to approach the targeted area, suddenly all the laser fire stops. An eerie clam. The word is calm. Let's be clear.
I don't know. Clam clinging over the trench.
I'm going to read it. I'm going to play it as it sits, I think is the golf term for this. The early clam clings over the trench as the surface whips past in a blur.
The guns. They've stopped.
Gold 5 looks behind him.
Stabilize your red deflectors. Watch for enemy fighters. They're coming in. 3 marks at 210.
3 Imperial TIE ships, Darth Vader in the center, flanked by 2 wingmen, dive in precise formation, almost vertically towards the Death Star surface. Darth Vader calmly adjusts his control stick as the stars zoom by.
Vader.
312.
312.
Ooh.
Oh, there we go. I scrolled down too far.
Yes.
I'll take them myself. Cover me.
Yes, sir.
3 TIE fighters zoom across the surface of the Death Star. Vader lines up the Gold 2 in his targeting computer. Vader's hand grips the control sticks and he presses the button. Pew, pew, pew. The cockpit explodes around Gold 2. His head falls forward. Bye-bye. As Gold 2 ship explodes, debris is flung out into space. Gold Leader looks over his shoulder at the scene. The 3 TIE fighters race along the trench in a tight formation. Gold Leader panics.
I can't maneuver!
Oh, yeah, that's right. Gold 5, the old veteran, tries to calm Gold Leader. Calm, by the way.
Stay on target.
The Death Star races by outside the cockpit window as he adjusts his targeting device.
We're too close!
Stay on target.
The older pilot remains calm. Now he's really panicked.
Loosen up!
Vader calmly adjusts his targeting computer and pushes the fire button.
Boom!
Pew, pew, pew.
Gold Leader's ship is hit by Vader's laser. Gold Leader explodes in a ball of flames, throwing debris in all directions.
There are no flames in space.
Yeah, whatever. Gold 5 moves in to the exhaust port.
Gold 5, the red leader.
Luke looks over his shoulder at the action outside of his cockpit.
Lost Tyree, lost Dutch.
I copy Gold 5.
They came from behind.
One of the engines explodes on Gold 5's Y-wing fighter, blazing out of control. He dives past the horizon towards the Death Star's surface, passing the TIE fighter during his descent. Gold 5, a veteran of countless campaigns, spins towards his death. Luke looks nervously about him at the explosive battle. Death Star control room. Grand Moff Tarkin and Chief Officer stand in the Death Star's control room.
We've analyzed their attacks, sir, and there is danger. Should I have your ship standing by? Evacuate? In our moment of triumph? I think you overestimate the chances.
Tarkin turns to the computer's readout screen. By the way, somebody can look ahead and give us an out. Tarkin turns to the computer readout screen. Flames move around the green disk at the center of the screen as numbers read across the screen.
Rebel base, 3 minutes in closing.
Red Leader looks over his wingman.
Red Group, this is Red Leader.
Dodonna moves into the intercom as he fiddles with the computer keys.
Rendezvous at Mark 6.1.
This is Red 2, flying towards you. Red 3, standing by. Red Leader, this is Base 1. Keep half your group out of range for the next run. Copy, Base 1. Luke, take Red 2 and 3. Hold up here and wait for my signal to start your run.
Luke nods his head. The X-Wing fighters of Luke, Biggs, and Wedge fly in formation high above the Death Star's surface. Luke peers out of his cockpit. 2 X-Wings move across the surface of the Death Star. Red Leader's X-Wing drops down to the surface, leading to the exhaust port. Red Leader looks around to watch the TIE fighters. He begins to perspire.
This is it!
Red Leader roams.
That is amazing!
Scared me so much.
I was gonna say, did we want to end scene at this is it? Or like, were you looking
Amazing.
for out to go to bed?
Dude, amazing. Red Leader roams down the trench of the Death Stars.
Wait, no.
Lasers speak across the black heavens. A huge remote control laser fire and approaching Rebel fighters. The Rebel fighters evade the Imperial laser blasts. Red 10 looks around for the Imperial fighters.
We should be able to see it by now.
From the cockpits of the Rebel pilots, the surface of the Death Star streaks with Imperial laser fire shooting towards them.
Keep your eyes open for those fighters. There's too much interference.
3 X-Wing fighters move into formation down the Death Star trench.
Red 5, can you see where they're coming from?
Luke looks down at the Death Star surface below.
No sign of any. Wait!
Red 10 looks up and sees the Imperial fighters.
Coming in, point 5.
I see them.
3 TIE fighters, Vader, 3 TIE fighters, Vader flanked by 2 wingmen, dive in a tight formation. The sun reflects off their dominant solar fins as they loop towards the Death Star's surface. Red Leader pulls his targeting device in front of his eyes and makes several adjustments.
I'm in range.
Red Leader's X-Wing moves up to the Death Star trench.
Target's coming up.
Red Leader looks at his computer target readout screen. He then looks at his targeting device.
Just hold them off for a few seconds.
Vader adjusts his control lever and dives in on the X-Wing fighters.
Close up formation.
The 3 TIE fighters move in formation across the Death Star surface. Red Leader lines up his target on the targeting device crosshairs. Vader and his wingmen zoom down the trench. Vader rapidly approaches the 2 X-Wings and Red 10 and Red 12. Vader's laser cannon flashes below and below the view of the front porthole. The X-Wings show in the center of Vader's computer screen. Red 12 X-Wing fighter is hit by Vader's laser fire and it explodes into flames across the trench. Red 10 works at his controls furiously, trying to avoid Vader's fighter behind him. Red 10.
I'm sorry, I totally lost it.
362.
364.
362?
2.
Sorry, I was
Oh,
there.
wow. Oh, the parsing is weird.
You better let her loose.
Red Leader's concentrating on his targeting device.
Almost there.
Red 10 panics.
I can't hold them.
Vader and his wingmen whip through the trench in pursuit of Rebel fighters. Vader coolly pushes a fire button on his control stick. Darth Vader's well-aimed laser fire proves to be unavoidable and strikes Red 10's ship, and Red 10 screams in anguish and pain. Pain. Red 10's ship explodes and bursts into flames. Grimly, Red Leader takes careful aim and watches his computer targeting device, which shows the targeted lined up in the crosshairs, and fires.
It's away!
An armed Imperial stormtrooper is knocked to the floor from an attack explosion. Other troopers scurrying about from the corridors are knocked against the wall and lose their balance. Leia and the others stare at the computer screen.
It's a hit. Negative.
Negative. Do we have an out?
hope Red Leader dies.
372. Oh, I think that's where we are. 372 was kind of the end there. So let's put this in wind down. I'm gonna take everybody out kind of individually. Tell us who you are and what are you doing right now. Where can people catch up with you? Let's start at the top. McPickle, who are you? Where can people catch your content?
I'm Pickle. I'm not currently streaming, but I do normally stream under McPickle84, and you can find me on Twitch.
There you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks, McPickle.
Thanks so much.
Bye.
Adam, who are you and what do you do?
I'm Adam from Kelowna Comicon. I am the director and coordinator of Kelowna Comicon, and I take part in all of these things. I don't have a lot of anything going on right now, but anything the Retrologists have going on, I tend to want to be part of.
Thank you. Kelowna Comicon is happening August 20th.
Thank you. You know, I should be better at promoting it at this point.
No, it's good.
Yes, we're less than a month away, August 20th and 21st. And for those of you coming out, I can't wait to see you all in person.
Yeah.
Awesome, bud.
Should be lots of
Thanks, Adam. Great job tonight.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Curtis, who are you and where can people connect with you?
I am the host of the Epic Marvel Podcast. If you go to epicmarvelpodcast.com, and I also am the editor for a series of comic strip reprints, for better or for worse. You can get that through the Library of American Comics. So check that out. And yeah, there you go.
Stalking.
And an awesome drummer as well.
Thanks.
You know the
He
best
drums.
people.
Absolutely.
He
Thanks,
drums.
Curtis. And super good to see you once again, bud. Thank
Definitely.
you. Cheers,
Thanks,
bud.
dude. Yeah, super fun.
Adrian
Nice.
looks so epically spooky right
Well, let's bring Adrian. Turn on your mic. Tell us a bit about what's going on with you. Oh, you're already on. Nice.
Am I on?
Yeah, you're on. You're good. Yeah.
Okay, good. What am I supposed to say again?
Who are you? Who is your daddy and what does he do?
He's Lord Vader.
Yes. What are you gonna do? Yeah.
My name is Adrian. I'm a film composer and guitar teacher, and you can find me on Instagram at Adrian Emond.
Perfect. EMOND.
Yeah.
Awesome guitarist. And
thank you so much. I had such a great time doing this.
Yeah, dude, so much
Thank
fun.
you.
Fantastic.
you elevated things tonight that I think was suddenly now you're essential. So thank you.
Thank you. Well, I'm looking forward to next time, and if we ever do another movie or something, I would love to. Because I was looking at Empire Strikes Back, and I was like, "Wow, this would be fun."
Yeah, exactly. Right? Yeah.
There's so many more.
Awesome, dude. Thank you, Adrian.
Okay.
Have yourself a good night, buddy. Cheers.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. Lady Vader, who are you and what do you do?
My name is Lily. I love, that feeling you get when you're around like-minded people and you get stupidly excited. So I thrive off of that so much that I started an event just to surround myself with people that are awesome. If you're in if you're in BC and you ever want to come hang out, come to the PentiCon. And if not, we'll see each other around.
That's awesome. We're going to be doing more virtual events for both Kelowna and Penticton. So we're going to see more of your face and Adam's face on a more regular basis. Cool.
Yay!
You're
All right,
amazing.
guys, you have an amazing night. You guys are amazing. That was fun. I have no clue what my husband thought of he just listening to, but hey, that was fun.
Yeah, that was bonkers.
It was super bonkers. Like, okay, out of here. Bye, Lily.
Bye.
Super fun. Dude, I can't get over how much fun that was.
Oh, that was stupid.
Yeah.
It's just totally
I'm super
stupid.
okay that we didn't finish it because it was about the journey, not the destination.
Of course.
Right?
Yeah. We all know how it ends.
Well, yeah, that's true.
He gets the girl. Is that he?
Him and Leia he kisses the girl. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah.
Brutal, bud. Okay. Well then, I got nothing else.
Yeah, man. Yeah, we did good. Thanks for everybody for watching tonight.
And go. That's it.
Oh, one of the tough parts about this stream is that we didn't say my favorite Star Wars quote.
Oh,
which
what's
is Klieg Lars, Shmi's my wife.
What?